Come on in. It is time for the Survivor draft. Very exciting. Not the Survivor Fantasy draft. That will be coming soon. But Survivor 50 starts this month. This whole month is going to be dedicated to Oscars, but also Survivor because this is a huge monumental season, a monumental landmark for the show. And I have four friends here to draft all things Survivor, heroes, villains, tribal councils, and quotes of our favorite series out there. But with some twists today. This is a different draft day than you're used to seeing, and I will explain that in a bit. But you saw him on the last draft. You're going to see him on this one as well. Co-host of the channel from Framewreck, Matty Fresh, or as we like to call him today, Matty Freshong Tribe, because all the bad tribes in Survivor end with Ong. Isn't that right, Matt? How you doing?
That is, and I'm going to be terrible at this because here's the thing. I'm going to do fine in drafting. I'm not going to get very many votes because I have found that my opinions on Survivor things vastly different than the general opinion for people. So
It's okay. I bet there's some other person in the world who think Wanda Shirk is the greatest supervillain of Survivor. Don't you worry, my friend. We will we will get there when we get there. But it's great to have you back as always. Two experts I love to have on for our fantasy drafts, for other drafts, some Disney drafts as well, that are returning now for draft day, inspired by Survivor. We have Austin and Ingrid. Welcome, guys. Welcome back to the show. How y'all doing?
Doing great. Very excited to do this. Thanks for having us.
Of course. Ingrid,
Yeah,
how are you?
I'm great. I'm if my voice is a little hoarse, it's because I'm a middle school teacher, and that's why. But otherwise, I'm chilling. You know, we love Survivor. We met because of Survivor, and now we're married. So
there you go.
Cool
Yes. Yes, that is a true love story right there. Our resident Robin Amber here on screen here on our draft. But thanks for joining. I was going to ask everyone who they're most excited to see on Survivor 50, but I feel like that would tip picks. So at the end, we'll ask who everyone's most excited to see on Survivor 50, just in case they happen to be picks today on this draft. But last but not least, we have another friend of the channel, big fan of Survivor. We haven't had her on a lot of Survivor-specific things, but that will change this year. We have Karly welcoming to the draft stage. How you doing, Karly? Your first draft of the new year. How you doing?
I'm good. This is going to be a lot of fun. I have no clue what I'm picking in any category, so that'll
Same.
Well, that's going to be unfortunate. That's going to be unfortunate for this draft specifically when I explain the rules, because we're going to do things a little different. I will explain the general rules right now. As always, snake draft, 5 picks, 5 rounds. You will pick a Survivor season, a Survivor tribal council, a Survivor hero, Survivor villain, and a Survivor quote. Some of those things are subjective. We will get there. If there is any vetoing, if someone is like, that is not a hero, that is a villain. What are you talking about? Or that is not a tribal council. That was just Brandon Hance getting disqualified. If anything like that, we can just we can have a veto. If 3 out of the 4 other players want to veto, we can veto that pick. And let's try not to tip too many picks. It's going to be hard with Survivor. Obviously, if you talk about Rob, you're probably going to want to talk about Amber in some capacity. That's fine. But just try your best to keep things focused on the pick itself, and not tip so many picks, even though Survivor, it's like we know what our options are, really. But we have a little bit of a twist today. And those are the secret advantages. For the first time ever in draft day, we have secret advantages because it is Survivor 50. We want to have some fun. So there will be 5 secret advantages. Every single one of us will get a secret advantage. Do not worry, but some of them are a little bit better than others. The first one being a hidden immunity idol, meaning if you use this idol once in the entire draft, you can save a pick from being drafted in a specific spot. So if I'm about to draft, Matt can use his idol after I pick a player or a tribal council, and Matt can basically negate that pick, meaning I can't pick it in that round. Now, if it comes back around to me later, I can pick it later. Or, Matt himself could snipe it from me, or someone else, if they're between our picks, could also snipe it from one of us as well. So that just makes sure that you cannot take that pick at that spot in the draft in that moment. You can pick something from that same category. So if I wanted a specific tribal council and I get it, a hidden immunity idol played on me, I can still pick a different tribal council, or I can wait and hope it gets back around to me. Who knows? If you play an idol, it doesn't necessarily mean you get that pick. It just means that that person does not. Then you have the idol nullifier, meaning if you want to offset the play of an idol, so let's say Matt does use an idol on me. If Karly is like, hey, I want to make sure Dill does get that pick because maybe she thinks that she wants to be nice and form an alliance, or maybe she just wants Matt to not have that pick because she might want a different pick. I don't know. Idol nullifier is basically to help the person who's getting nullified. If it is yourself, you can use it it on yourself. So be careful if you're taking away someone's pick and they have a nullifier, they can use that. But also, if you have a nullifier, do you use it then, or do you save it for maybe a more precious pick later? Knowledge is power. At the start of any round, meaning once we are complete with round 1, round 2, whatever it may be, if you want to start the round, you can use your knowledge as power to ask 2 players privately to reveal their top choice in a specific category. So if I have the knowledge as power, I could be like, Austin, Ingrid, tell me who you're going to pick for tribal council, and Ingrid, tell me your villain. You have to DM them the answer, and they will know the knowledge. And then if it gets to them in the draft next, they will have to pick that pick unless you take it from them or someone else takes it from them. So it's basically to get a kind of glance at what your competition may pick if you are between a few picks and you just want to know. It could just be also for fun, just so you don't have to wait in so much anticipation to find out who is going to draft Zelensky. So Trick of the Sanctuary is the next reward, the next secret advantage, I guess, where good things happen. So no matter where you are in the draft order, you can choose one round to be first of the round. So if you are the 5th pick in the draft, you have back-to-back picks, round 1 and 2. If you don't want to have to wait 10 more picks for your 3rd pick, you can pick first in round 3 as well. All it does is kind of bump you up in the order. It doesn't change the order at all in terms of future rounds. So if you have the 1st pick, you have 1st, 10th, 11th, and then I believe it's like 19th and 20th or 20th, 21st. You will just get to switch one of those rounds and go first in that round. It'll make a lot of sense. After every round, I will ask whoever has the trip to the sanctuary, would you like to cash it in now? And if you do, you'll make your pick then and there, and then we'll proceed with the normal order as is. The Jillian Larson super advantage, my favorite player of all time, who picked the most disastrous tribe in the history of Survivor, Gabon. You will have the chance to single-handedly pick the order of the draft. So the wheel today is going to be determining advantages, not order, because whoever gets the Jillian Larson super advantage will choose the order of this draft. Maybe not the most important advantage in this game, but if you are worried about getting something sniped from you or anything like that, you can ensure that you're at least one of the first few picks. Do we have?
I didn't realize it until this very moment, but did you know that said secret ad advantages?
Yeah, of course. Secret advantages, of course.
You said it to us like an hour and a half ago.
You found the hidden immunity idol.
Listen, I had Q write that for me, so blame him. That is not my fault.
I have a question,
guys. Yes, Ingrid.
I have a quick question. So when you were talking about the knowledge is power, and you were explaining it, like, let's say I ask Austin and Maddie for something, and I get their picks. Maybe I interpreted it wrong, but were you saying that then when it's your turn, you have to pick one of those 2 things they said?
You don't have to, but they have to. So if I were like, okay, the next villain I'm gonna take is Jeff Probst, then I would have to take Jeff Probst, my next pick. So
you're like basically, if they ask you that, then you're committing to saying that's what I'm going to pick next.
Yes, so you can't bluff basically. So it's basically forcing your hand to lock in a pick early. But if you see that and you're like, wait, no, I want Jeff, then you can draft Jeff, and then I can draft whatever I want. But it's basically to see what the person was going to pick next. Just so you can, like, if you're deciding between a few and you're like, shoot, do I want to wait another round to pick this, or do I think someone's going to pick it? Let me ask if someone's going to pick it. And if they say no, if you're like, I really want this tribal council, Dylan, Karly, what tribal councils are you picking? Oh, neither of them are my tribal council. Maybe then you feel safe to keep going.
I think there's one thing that's getting muddied a little bit there. Keep saying next. You don't have to choose the next. When you get to that category, you have to choose that if it's still there. Right?
Correct. Yeah. So you can choose a different category. But
like, so if Ingrid asked me what villain I'm going to draft, on my next pick, I can still draft my hero.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, that's
when I decide to draft my villain.
Yes, once you get to your
villain, I have to draft.
Yes.
So but if someone else takes it, you can choose something else. But if they haven't, you have to take it.
They don't have to take it for their next pick in that category. They have to take that. So they can't be like, actually, I don't want Jeff. I want who's a very heroic figure that would never get picked for villain. Keith Nail for villain. You know, like then if anyone picks him for villain, I'm vetoing that. But yeah, so that's going to be kind of how that works. Thank you for that question. That's actually a really good question. So how it's going to work in terms of picking who's going to get what, I have a wheel right here. Let me get it. This is for all the advantages. And then I have my wheel with all our names right here. So I'm going to spin the advantages and the wheel at the same time. The names that link up to the advantages is how it's going to be dealt out. So it's not going to be each person getting to spin in order, because we don't want to just decide in order. I'll be spinning the wheel. At the same time, I'll be spinning this wheel. And whatever matches up, that is the advantage and person that is getting that. Okay? So this is going to be the first spin. I'm spinning this. I'm spinning this. Let's see.
Sanctuary.
It is
What a surprise,
Sanctuary
Dill
and
Sanctuary.
Dill. So I'm going to be getting the Sanctuary advantage.
Oh, the colors even matched up on that one.
Yes,
Yeah.
it did. So I am
Huh.
off the wheel, and I have the Sanctuary. So I will get to go first in a round of my choosing. That is fun. That is great. All right, let's do another spin here. This is a fun way to do it. I like this. Oh, it looks like it's going to be the Jillian Larson. Is it? Is it Jillian Larson? It is, and it is Ingrid. So Ingrid, you will pick the draft order inspired by the greatest player of all time. Congratulations. That's so exciting. So Ingrid, start thinking about what you want the draft order to be, and it looks like it's going to be our idol, and our idol is going to...
Damn it!
Karly. So Karly, you will get to remove anyone's pick you want at any point in the draft once.
Austin and I are stuck with the worst ones.
No, I actually want the nullifier. I want the nullifier.
Austin wants the nullifier. Let us see who's going to get what. It's going to be the knowledge is power, and it's going to be... Oh, my battery mode. Matt, you're getting the knowledge is power, which means,
right.
Austin, you are going to have the idol nullifier. Okay, does everyone remember what their things are? Because I did not write them down. Yes?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
just to recap one last time, just so you remember what your advantage is. Karly, you have the idol, so you can literally say, nope, you're not drafting that in that moment. Austin, if you want to say, nope, they are drafting that in that moment, you can play the nullifier. Only if Karly plays the idol can you play the nullifier, though. Yep. So it's basically like a 50-50. You're either playing it or you're not. Knowledge is power. At the start of any round, that is me. I can go... or no, that's Matt. Sorry. Matt can get intel on 2 players, and they will DM him. You can even do it in the private chat if you... No, you can't, because then the others will see. But you have Matt on Facebook. You can DM him. That's how we'll do it. Trip to Sanctuary, that's me. I can go first in any of the rounds I choose. And Ingrid, you have the Queen's advantage, where you can choose the draft order. So Ingrid, you're Jillian Wilson. You have just been dealt a whole pile of elephant dung to do with as you please. What would you like the order of this draft to be?
Okay. So I'm gonna make Austin go first because he said he doesn't know what he's picking, and I think that's funny.
Austin's gonna go first.
Okay.
Oh my god, a pop-up window just appeared on my computer. Hold on. I can't see anyone. Okay, there we go. So locked in there. I'm gonna have... Oh my god, I don't know. By that same token, I'll have Karly go second because she said she...
I love the chaos.
Chaos.
I'll put myself in third. I
Right,
think
smack the
middle isn't a
middle.
bad
Cool.
place to be.
Mm-hmm.
And then y'all 2 can say like that. Cool.
Okay, cool. So Matt, you're fourth, and I am fifth. I will ask myself, Dylan, do you want to go first in this round or in a later round? I think just for the fun of the episode, I will wait. I will wait until we get back to later, because also I have back-to-back picks, so waiting 8 picks between second and third pick might not be like nice for me. So I might
totally
cash it in.
did that on purpose. Yeah.
I cash it in later. So thank you, Ingrid, for that. Okay, so now, yes,
Question. Can I ask the same person 2 things?
Matt. No, 2 different players. that is too much, I think. 2 different players. We don't want to make it too overpowered. Do I need to ask anyone
It's
else?
underpowered right now. It's the worst one.
Knowledge is power at the start of any round. Okay, so Matt, would you like to use your knowledge is power?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, we're starting with the knowledge.
He's
is
like,
power.
might as well.
Matt, you will have to announce to you will have to. Should we have Matt announce? This is just a question because I didn't think this through. Should we have Matt announce who he's asking, what he's asking, or have him just ask?
Yeah, I'll just,
privately.
I'll just ask.
Okay, Matt. Their responses will be private to you.
The
not
response
to
is going to be
everyone else.
private.
Okay,
I want to
Matt.
know Austin's hero.
God,
And
really making
I'd
me
like
figure
to
that out right
know-
now.
Exactly. And I'd like to know Ingrid's villain.
Okay. So Ingrid and Austin, DM Matt your hero and villain respectively. Now, Austin, you don't have to pick this hero first, but if the pick comes around to you and you still haven't picked hero, whenever you pick hero, you have to pick this player. Same as you, Ingrid, you have to pick villain. Now, immunity idols still work for this, so someone can make you not if you want to form any alliances with Karly. Karly can be like,
Karly's
no, you don't
already
have
in
to
an
pick
alliance.
Oh, we have some pre-gaming here. Okay, Sophie and Jake, I see. But we are now here, Ingrid and Austin. Matt, once you have those names, we can proceed with the first round of the draft.
I'm clicking on Matt in the chat members so that I can.
I was gonna say we're not friends on Facebook, so I had to go find him.
No worries. And Matt, you might have to go to your archived or message requests just to make sure.
Yeah, it popped up.
You got it. Perfect. Yeah. So you got Ingrid's pick. It sounds like.
And I'm not worried about it. So
okay. Oh, not worried about it. Okay. Getting his advantage out of the way early, not saving it for any explosive merge tribals. I like the strategy here. Austin, have you sent yours to Matt?
Okay.
Cool. Matt, you know your two options here?
Yeah, and I'm relieved, so we're good.
All right, good. So Matt just getting a little bit of comfort, a little bit of
and their answers were there's no rule. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, hey, if you I mean that's your strategy. No, Austin, what is going to be your first pick of the draft?
Yeah. So I am, especially because I'm not sold on my hero pick, I'm going to leave that up in the air for a bit to see if anyone else takes that person. When I was going through this, the category I felt for me was the hardest to come up with a bunch of options for me was villain. So I am going to pick my villain first. Okay. I think there are a lot of villains, but I wanted to go with someone who I feel like every time they play, they are a villain. Because I feel like there are some people who like maybe they were an iconic villain like once, but then when they played a later time, they changed it up and they weren't as villainous, or they weren't a villain at all. So, and even as I'm saying this, there's two still top in my brain, and I'm just trying to evaluate in my brain whether I feel like one of them is always a villain. Sorry.
All right, Austin.
So my villain pick is going to be Tony Vlachos.
Tony, okay, Tony, your villain pick.
Villain.
And just so you know, Karly, if you're ever going to be using your immunity idol, just throw it out whenever you want, as long as it's before we move on to the next pick. Right. Austin, tell us about Tony. Why do you pick Tony?
Again, part of it was going through and thinking of when I think of iconic villains that I also want to have on my team. Like there are some iconic villains that I'm just like, yeah, but they're icky. I don't want them on my draft.
They gotta wash their ass, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Exactly. One of those in particular. So then I really was like, I was looking at my like short list of people I liked who are villains that I wanted, and then I start eliminating some of those picks of like, I mean, now that I've picked it, I'll say some names that were like in my no. Can I?
Nah, don't take picks, but...
Okay, wait until other people. So there are other people who, like, as I'm going through them, though, I'm like, well, this time that they played, I feel like they weren't really a villain, and so I do feel that in his core, even though he is like a fun character and people do like him and laugh, like every season that he has played, he has had a villainous streak in him. I mean, I think Kaguyan is like the peak of his villainous of flipping constantly back and forth. But like, I think even with like the Sophie boot in Winners at War, I feel like that's a very villainous move because he completely backstabs and undercuts Sarah in that moment. And I think there's a level of the fact of how chaotic he is in his few days. And he really tries to throw Sandra under the bus in Game Changers. I think all 3 times Tony plays, he is a villain. Might not be at the peak of other villains, but I think he is consistently a villain, and he's obviously an iconic player.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I have never thought of him as a villain. And I'm not vetoing at all. Yeah. I think the points that you make are good. I actually think that the points you're making for him being a villain are the reason I've never really liked him much as a player. And that's because I thought he was trying to be a hero. And now that I'm thinking about it, I'm just like, maybe he's not bad at the game. It just tripped on into 2 wins. Maybe he's actually a really good villain. So that's interesting.
No, I think
I've never
I
loved
think he is
him,
the type of player who is going to do whatever he needs to do to win by regardless of what anyone else wants or thinks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, and sorry to get political, but he's a cop. I mean, that's his. So like that. But that's.
And I will say even one more thing, just because I thought of it when you said that. It wasn't really like shown on the show, but there was this thing where he talked about it, I think, in his preseason 4 Game Changers, that in Cagayan he had 2 rocks that he were referring to as his wife and daughter. And he had 2 fake rocks that everyone thought were those real rocks, and he would swear on those rocks to people in the game.
That's
so that he was swearing on his wife and kid, even though he was swearing on 2 completely different rocks.
Wow.
If I may, and I've stood on this soapbox before, swearing on someone else means nothing. It's not a thing. It's not a thing. I don't know why people get so mad about it.
Yeah,
it's not a real thing.
I do think that's what pushes Tony in more villainous territory. I think he's the most iconic player, in my opinion. Like, he's my favorite player. So like, I'm glad he's represented, especially #1 pick. He's like not the first, but he's a 2-time winner on an all-winner season. Mm-hmm. But I do think, I think his last season is actually his most heroic. I think he changes his game so much from villain to hero in a similar way that another villain from his first season did in her second season. Then it didn't work out. I think he actually followed through with it. I think the beautiful moment with him and Sarah in the fire making is kind of that evolution, that full evolution, to where at Final Tribal, I don't think he's ever really apologizing for anything like he was in Cagayan. But I think Cagayan is such a villainous season because he's not only swearing on his wife and kid, but he's also building shacks and spying on people, which I think is a little bit more at least sneaky, not maybe villainous, but that's a very sneaky thing. And then also just the way he kind of handles Final Tribal is almost an interrogation where he has to kind of not apologize for things, but own up to things that they're mad about. I think if you're ever getting a lot of slander at Final Tribal, you have some sort of villainous skew to you in a way. But I do see what Matt means in terms of like, he is such a big character. And I feel like he's a villain, but also has other villains on his season that are more villainous that he is almost fighting against, which makes him more heroic. Like in his first season, he has a very primary antagonist that is, I think, a more bigger villain than him in Cagayan. And, that's who we end up thinking is the biggest villain of the season, to where he's even more heroic in retrospect. And then in Game Changers, like Sandra, like you just said, like is the villain of that too, even though she outlasts him and gets him out. Like, I think she's more of a villain than him because she's the one antagonizing him in a way. So it's really interesting to just see how he is a villain, but also he's a very complex character, and I think that's why I didn't have him in either category, because I didn't know where he firmly went. So I was just like, someone's gonna pick him. I want to find at least a moment or tribal council or a season that honors him. So I'm glad he's just represented here in the first round, because I think he is such an integral part to, and especially the second half of Survivor, post Heroes versus Villains. Like, he is the biggest figure. He's on the Mount Rushmore, and he comes from that second half, and not a lot of players from that second half of the game, I feel like, are on that Rushmore or like even close to it. It's all like early old school players that have been evolved. So it's really cool that he's, become such a big figure, and seeing him on Traders and Australia versus the world. And, he's great. And I'm glad you got him in the first round. But yeah, Ingrid, any thoughts on Tony?
Yeah. Tony's my favorite player also. But I think the thing that Tony demonstrates so well is, I feel like there is a difference between a villainous Survivor player and a mean Survivor player. And I think a lot of times those get muddied, and some people are both. But Tony is a villainous Survivor player who is not mean most of the time. I don't even know if I can think of a moment where he really is mean.
Yeah, the llama is like the closest thing, but
it's like a little bit, but it's also like she was also being mean. So like, like what can you do? But I think that's why Tony is such a complex figure, is because he's likable, he's funny, he's a family man, like he like all of these things, but then he's also stabbing people in the back. And there's the whole thing in the Cagayan Final Tribal where Trish is like jumping down his throat and is like, that, was it worth it to you $1 million to lie on your dad's memory? And he was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's villainy. That is villainy in Survivor. Is like, yeah, it's a game. Like, and it's those people that can separate the game from personal that like are often seen as villainous because we're like, oh my God, you didn't care about that person. And he's like, and then when he's in 40, he's like, every connection I made was genuine, but I had to vote you out. Like, I had to do that to get here. So I love him. He's so funny. I always want him on my screen at all times. I love all of his different spy contraptions and all of those things, but I think he is a good villain pick because of the gameplay play side of it, despite the fact that he is so well loved by so many people.
Yeah, perfect. Karly, any thoughts on Tony? Are you using your idol?
I'm a little bit no. Why would I use it when he has the idol nullifier?
True,
right? That's why I wanted the nullifier, because I knew I was pretty safe to just pick whatever now.
Right. I'm a little bit more neutral on him, mainly just because I haven't rewatched his seasons since I've gotten a lot more into Survivor and understood it a bit more. But I am excited to watch Kai and Winners at War and just see why people love him. Like from clips and stuff that I've seen, he's a great player, but I just don't have the more recent knowledge of him. So
yeah, no worries. Well, Karly, you are next, so you get your first pick now on the board, and no one can take it from you because you have the idol. So you're safe, and Austin sounds like he's safe too. So
me and Karly have defense.
Go ahead, Karly.
I got nothing.
What do I want? All right, I think I'll go with my favorite Survivor player. My favorite Survivor villain, getting another villain off the board. And like, I was okay with not getting her, but because I could get her in other categories if I needed to, but I have the second pick. I might as well just take my beautiful Black Widow, 2-time winner, Parvati. Oh gosh, I love her so much. She's
the GOAT.
Truly. She's just so hot and queer, and like she's just so good at the game. Like I haven't watched all of the Australian Survivor versus the World season, but I'm like halfway through it, and I'm just like, she's better at this game than like 99% of people. Like she just understands it, and like it's insane how she can repeatedly enter the game with a target on her back, and just it doesn't matter. Like she just finds a way to get to the end, and she usually finds a way to win on top of it, which is crazy impressive. Like her Black Widow brigade was like so formative for me as watching the show when I was younger. And like there's so much to say about Parvati. She has so many iconic moments. And like I'll just let everyone else talk about her too, because it's like, what do you even say about her? She's everything. She's amazing.
Yeah, she's amazing. She is my favorite player. So I say Tony's my favorite character, but she's like my favorite player. I think she is. I think if you put her and Tony in a season together, which we saw twice, obviously he won one, she won the other, but and she won, I think, an even harder. I don't want to say harder season, obviously, because 40 winners or 20 winners is tough. But reputation wise, like, for her to then do Traitors and then go on Australian Survivor again and still have such a dominant game. I think that's the thing, is like, even Tony, he plays very under the radar game until the end, until like the Sophia episode. And then he kind of hits the ground running, puts his pedal to the metal. She's doing it from day one on that season. And she's already done that before on Micronesia and Heroes vs. Villains. And I think she just doesn't get the respect in Heroes vs. Villains that she should. It's a great pick. If I had the idol, I would have sniped it from you right then and there. If I had Jillian Larson power, I'd put myself first to get this pick. Like, this is the best pick for me. So I'm glad you took it. Yep. And we'll always talk about it later.
Also, another thing I forgot to mention is just her legacy. How like flirty females were like targeted for so long because they're like, oh, they're Parvati. She's Parvati. And it's like, no, she's not Parvati. But just the fact that she caused that is wild.
Yeah, you see all the pre-press for 50, and everyone's like, Savannah. She's Parvati, and everyone's like they don't know her game because they didn't see it, but they know. They're like, she's Parvati, and that's big. That's big. Ingrid, thoughts on Parvati?
Well, I grabbed this off of my nightstand real quick.
Yes.
And it's funny because like for those who don't know, the first season of Survivor I ever watched was Gabon, LOL, at Jillian Larson. As a child. And so I was born the year that Survivor started. Sorry for people who will feel old from that. But that was like the first season that like, because my mom watched from the beginning, that I was like truly following along as a kid. And so the first time I ever saw Parvati was Heroes vs. Villains. And I was like, okay, like as a child. Like she just like she was just a person to me. Like I didn't have that like allure to Parvati that like a lot of people had who watched Micronesia and things like that. And like to come into that to really truly understand how impressive it was that she got to the end again. Like I didn't get it. And so there was a long time where I was like, Parvati's overrated. Parvati. And then like as I've gotten older and I watched Micronesia. I watched Micronesia back as an adult, and like I've saw how she handled that season and all of the Parvati renaissance that we've been experiencing in the 2020s, and all of that. Like I have grown to really love her and like respect her. And I mean, like I've only read one chapter of the book so far, and I've learned so much about how like in depth of a person she is, and like so much of her upbringing that she has never talked about on the show, and all of this stuff. And so like I just have so much more respect for her than I did as a child or anything like that. And you're right, she is hot, so there's that. That helps.
Yeah. Matt, any thoughts on Parvati?
Well, first of all, I just want to say that the first season of Survivor that I ever watched was just called Survivor because they didn't give it subtitles yet because it was the first season. As a high schooler, I am the people that you're making feel old. But no, it's fine. I'm an old person. She's the greatest player of all time. She should be a 3-time winner, in my opinion. And I just love her. This is a great pick. I knew I was never gonna get it, so like she's on my list. But I was like, honestly, I didn't want to take it from Dylan, and somebody else did. So, but she's great. During Australia versus the World, I would like text Dylan and be like pictures of Parvati like holding up the thing during that challenge. I'd be like, there's our savior dying on the cross for us.
I love that.
She's just incredible. And as I said, I think she has solidified herself as the greatest player of all time.
Yeah. Austin, any last thoughts on Parvati?
Yeah. She was who I was debating right at that last minute between her and Tony. Then I ended up not going with it, just sticking to my I want to pick someone who I feel is a villain every time they play. And I don't.
You could have burned 2 advantages in the first pick if you would pick Parvati. Karly does the idol, you use the nullifier. That would have been crazy.
It would have been hard not to use the idol, even knowing he had the nullifier.
Yeah,
Dylan was never gonna get Parvati.
It was so close. I just thought about and everything everyone has said I agree with. I think she is one of, if not the best player of all time. She's everything everyone said I agree with 100%. And it really, for me, I ended up not picking her just on that basis of me trying to pick someone who I felt was a villain every time they played. And I don't necessarily think she's really a villain in Cook Islands. I don't think she truly becomes a villain until Micronesia. And I think most of that is under the influence of Suri. And then Heroes Villains, I think that she's mostly villain, but I feel like that also is more she's connected to Russell as opposed to her truly doing villainous things. Like I think the double idol play could be easily seen as a heroic thing because she is protecting the other villains in the game at that moment. And then I just don't see her really as a villain in Winners at War. Like she's mom Parvati now.
Thinking about it, they really don't make a lot of villains in Winners. Like Winners at War, I feel like they try to give everyone a heroic tinge, even if they are villains. Like I really think there's only really one villain on Winners at War, and I'm not gonna say his name in case anyone drafts, but and it's really just because of real life stuff with like being an ex-boyfriend of someone. Like it really isn't like
they really just said the name basically at that point.
Well, I didn't say the name. Didn't say the name. So you
I don't think anybody's drafting him.
No, listen, it's funny though.
He wasn't even the best player on his season.
True.
Yeah. So that's just, I agree with everyone. I think she is iconic. She is a villain in general. But that's just why I didn't end up picking her. Was I was looking for consistent villain.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, Ingrid, you get your first pick now. You don't have to say if that was the villain you told Matt about, but maybe you still have your villain out there. Maybe you want to go for one of the other 4 categories. It's all in your hands.
I am gonna keep going on the villain train. I might as well.
All right, Matt, you have to fact check. Make sure this is correct.
Parvati was also on my short list, but she was not the choice that I ended up going with when I told Maddie what I was doing. Last time I was mean, this time I'm meaner. Sandra Diaz-Twine is my choice. Fitting that I would pick her after Parvati, as you know, the great debate of 2010. But yeah, I, from the same token as Parvati, the first time I ever saw Sandra was Heroes versus Villains. But with that being said, my mom is a huge Sandra fan, so I went in like knowing anything I needed to know already. And I love that woman. She's incredible. I love that, like, the first time that Sandra plays Survivor, I think people forget that, like, she's already a mom at that point. And she's already like a wife and a mom and all of these things that, like, when we look at Survivor players, we see like both the players on the island and us as viewers. Like we tend to view mothers in a certain way on Survivor. And she just defies all of that so beautifully. She cusses, she's mad, she like is tired of people's crap. Like she says anybody but me, but she never really means it. Which I think is beautiful because like she has this strategy that makes people think that she doesn't care, but then she is pulling strings here and there to get what she wants or to bounce back from something that she didn't want. Like when Rupert goes home in Pearl Islands, like they still didn't target her after all that time when she was that like closely associated with him. And you know, as from one Puerto Rican woman to another who at some point has lived in North Carolina, I have to give props where it's due. And for everybody out there, no, she did not quit Winners at War. She was voted out. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. And she knew she wouldn't win a challenge. Like, why would you waste your time there? If
I wouldn't either.
You are the single worst challenge competitor of any winner ever. Like, I mean,
and that's what I'm saying. She didn't have to win a challenge either.
Right. Exactly. That's true too. Which, you know, yeah, I'm not going to tip picks, but there are other people that I consider some of the greatest to never win who can't win because they can't win the challenges. Yet she doesn't need to win those clutch challenges. She's never a big enough threat. And that's the thing. I think Sandra's threat level is so, like, her threat management is so good. And I know we're not talking about her as a player, more so just like her as a villain. But I think that's cool too, is like, she's always a villain. Like, I never have to question once or twice, like, if she's a heroic or villainous. Even the whole Winners of War thing, she's still a villain in that sense. You know, she's the big dragon that Denise slays. Like, she is always a villain.
She was trying so hard to pull one over on Denise, and it did not.
Yeah.
It was the other way.
Yeah, I think she's always just the way she carries herself villainous, but again, not mean. Like, she's not mean in the way that like other people are just like problematically mean. You know, I think she's just like a fun villain too. She has fun. She plays with the camera. Game Changers. You know, I think Game Changers is probably the most heroic game, but even then, she's still sneaky. Still plays villainous. So I really like her. You know, Pearl Island, there's a bigger villain on her season, but I do think still she's still a villain through, and I love her. I really love her, and I think she's someone who's who was said to be so overrated after winning twice that she's now underrated. Like, I think honestly, like, over time now, people are just like, oh, Sandra, she won twice, she didn't deserve to win, just because I think also the edit didn't do her any favors in Heroes vs. Villains, but I still would have voted Parvati over Sandra in Heroes vs. Villains, but I think she proved on Game Changers and even some of Winners of War and just the way she kind of had so much control. And then Traitors, of course, you know, being one of the best faithfuls we've ever seen. Like, I really do think she has proved that she is a good strategist. She's not just lucky. She didn't luck out just by sitting around. And I think that's the biggest thing with Sandra. I think she proved that she is a good player. And now I think she's underrated. So yeah, big fan of this pick. And she's one of the most iconic players, let alone villains. So, yeah, I love the pick.
And you can love Parvati and Sandra at the same time.
Exactly.
Just want to say that.
They love each other. They've reconciled.
They do.
I think they might not anymore.
I feel like I heard that, but
they did on Traitors, and now they might not anymore. I don't know. But any thoughts?
They both have lots of money. I think it's gonna be okay.
It'll be fun. Sandra, $2 million heir, $2 millionaire. Matt, thoughts?
I just don't get it. Like, I respect everyone who loves Sandra. my first favorite season. Okay, maybe not this. It's not my first favorite season. My first first time I was a huge fan of a player happened on Pearl Islands. I'm not going to tip that pick, but I was such a massive fan. And so like she was like not a blip on my radar. And so like when she wins that, I'm like, what is this? And then she's going on. And I know I've already said like I wasn't a fan of Tony. I wasn't a fan of Sandra. And like you're thinking, is it just the 2-time player thing? No, because I already talked about how much I love Parvati. So it's that's not
all
it.
2-time winners drafted 1, 2, 3. That's pretty cool.
I understand. Here's what I will say. Rewatching those seasons, every time I rewatch it, I see it a little bit more. It's just I'm still not to that point. Like she's not greatest of all time. I have no problem with her really. I do think she's mean. I do think she's mean, and I think she makes people feel bad about themselves, and that's the thing that bothers me. I think a lot about her. But I think it's a great pick. I think it's a great pick because she's one of the most iconic players of all time. I just for me, and I'm not going to go any further because I don't want to be negative at all. I just don't really get it. That's really it. So.
Yeah, Matt just really loves fedoras and knows that if he was ever on an island with her, she would burn it, and he's scared of her. Okay,
incredible.
That's great. I appreciate that, Matt. Karly, thoughts on Sandra?
I love her. I love her because she's mean. Like she does not care. Like she's gonna be a bitch because that's who she is. And like I find that refreshing, knowing it's a game and knowing that you can be a good person outside of it. I just like when the players let loose and are just bitchy a little bit. I love how she has no sympathy for the other biggest villain on that season. Like it's so funny to me that she's just like, who cares? When that one of Tep picks. But I love that. And she's just, but like her, both having her, Rupert, and the other big villain on Pearl Islands, it's just such a good combination. It's just so great.
Yeah, really produced so many great characters. I think Pearl Islands and Cook Islands produced like the greatest iconic figures of Survivor. Austin, thoughts?
Yeah, no, Sandra's incredible. It's funny you said that for you think Game Changers is her most heroic, whereas I think that is actually probably her most villainous in my opinion.
With like the sugar and stuff.
With the sugar and stuff like that. Like I don't necessarily, especially with like Heroes villains, I don't see her as the villain there because she's anti-Russell. Like she is the one trying to give the heroes the glimmer of hope to get one over on him and extending that olive branch. So like she's not really a villain there to me. She's mean, and like I agree, like you can be mean and villain, and sometimes mean translates to villain, but she's also Rupert's number one ally in Pearl Islands. Like her number one ally is arguably the biggest hero on Pearl Islands. So it's like, and she dumps out the fish not to be mean, but to be like, you guys screwed over my friend. Like,
but she also lets her friend take the fall for it without.
Yes, that is that part. I do agree is villainous there. So like, she's like this. I don't know. Maybe the word I'm looking for is anti-hero more so than villain.
She's an anti-hero.
Yeah.
So that's more why I wasn't thinking of her there.
And what I love is that when Jeff on Heroes vs. Villains says, "Who thinks they're on the wrong tribe?" She's one of like two people who raise her hand. I'm like, put your hand down.
Isn't
Sandra.
Isn't her and Parvati? I think, right?
Her and Parvati raised. I think a couple people. Rob raises his hand too. I think.
I was gonna say it's like mostly the villains that are like, I'm a villain.
Yeah. I guess I always focus on her because I'm like, Sandra, put your
Jeff
down.
says, I don't think this is actually true. Jeff says Jerry Manthi's the only one who doesn't raise her hand there.
Oh,
yeah.
When he asks about it, he's like, the only one not raising her hand, the original Black Widow, Jerry Manthi. But yeah, so those are my thoughts on Sandra. Wonderful player. I think it's a good pick. I think there are heroic glimpses in there.
I do agree with Austin in that Game Changers is her most villainous, and that is because I think she's playing a character. She's playing a caricature of what she thinks people want from her in Game Changers. So I think that makes her seem the most villainous in that.
And I would say her most heroic for me is Winners at War because she's genuinely trying to save her friend Denise by giving her idol there.
Yeah,
and it's Denise who becomes the villain.
I the only reason with Game Changers heroic is I think also because she's an underdog, because I think everyone has a target on her back that like it's cool to see her play from the bottom where she's actually in danger, because usually we see her play from the bottom where she's not. She's like tied to Rob, tied to Rupert, all these people who are bigger targets than her. So I like her and Michaela's kind of underdog arc in there, and then Michaela kind of being swooped up by Suri that season. Like that's kind of why I think of Sandra more heroically, because she also gets Tony out, who's this big villain, and then she gets JT out, who's kind of a villain that season. So I don't know.
I get that.
And again, she is doing these things because she's also sneaky and villainous too, though. Like the sugar thing is so like looking at the camera, like
That's my favorite.
Yeah. All right, Maddie, what's gonna be your first pick? Are you gonna continue the villain train and make my life a lot easier, or are you gonna
I am.
Okay.
I am, and I had told these people off air that if I get first round, I know who I'm picking.
I know you're
and then I also said that it might be a veto. So I'm going, my villain, the person I am going with, and the reason it might be a villain is because the show doesn't seem to think that she's a villain, because they put her on the freaking Heroes tribe, and that is Suri Fields. That is going to be my villain. I think the fact that any of the Black Widow Brigade was on the Heroes tribe is nonsense. But I think that they did not have as many interesting heroes, and that had to have been why it happened. Suri Fields, she's the greatest player to ever win, in my opinion. Obviously, she's incredible, and not only that, but she's like collecting reality shows like Infinity Stones, and and soon she's going to control the entire reality verse. And I love her. And the one time I've ever not wanted her to win was the second time Parvati won, and on Australia versus the World. I really hope 50 is her season. I'm rooting hard for her, and I'm very excited to see her come back. I'm a very big fan. And what's funny is I mentioned earlier that I watched Survivor from the beginning, but then I fell off for a long time. Like once I moved out of my mom's house, like I no longer watched it for a while, and then I'd come back and watch it every once in a while with my mom, but mostly I didn't watch it. So when 45 premieres, I just went and watched all of Survivor, and so up until then I didn't know who Suri was, except that I had also started watching Big Brother 25, and I was like, I don't know who this person is. And then once I got through that, I see the hype. She is not overhyped. Unlike I've mentioned a couple of people that just were overrated to me. She is absolutely not. She is iconic. She is, in my opinion, the first face on Mount Rushmore.
Wow. I'm like, I don't want to veto this, because obviously I do see the argument for her being a villain, but she's also like, I know, but
I actually came in here. I will say this: I came in here contemplating the idea of throwing out a veto if someone tried to pick her as a hero.
Really? Okay.
Because I do think she's a villain.
I think now it's hard because I'm trying to separate like the traitors of it all from my brain too, because she's a super strategist, but she inspired so many people by getting it. Like the whole thing is like she got up off the couch.
I will say, I think she's not.
You can be inspiring and a villain. That's how.
I think she's not a villain in Panama. I think every other time though she is.
Yeah.
Except Heroes villains, but that's because she's barely.
Corey,
I feel like it goes back to what we were saying earlier about the villain versus mean. She's not mean. She's a villain.
Yeah. Okay.
And she crushes dreams.
I'm not gonna.
That's okay.
I was just thinking about it. Yeah.
Corey just heard me saying that you can be inspiring and a villain, and she said Dan Giesling from Big Brother. True. So like that's all you really. Yeah, you're right. That's all you. So, just to me, like, I think that maybe people don't think of her as a villain because of Panama,
the hero label.
Because of Panama, and because she attached herself to the big hero of that season. And I think that is probably and because like her adversary was Shane. What's that?
I was gonna say I also don't necessarily know if I would say she's a villain in Game Changers, but we
don't talk about Game Changers.
I think Micronesia is her most villainous game for sure. But I do also like Heroes vs. Villains. Like when Tom pulls on her, I'm like, Tom, you're the villain in this case. Like Tom is taking like this America's sweetheart out. But I get what you're saying though. She is a villain.
I don't think that Tom's the villain there. I think Tom is the hero who's standing up to the villain in that case. I don't like it. I don't like it.
I've just never. I've heard you say that
she's like the mob boss in.
That's the thing. She is like a mob boss. You're right.
She's like exactly. Godmother
and
on.
You say you're separating the traitors of it all. She's her biggest villainous moment happens in Traitors.
We have
right. That's why I'm trying. Like,
I got you. I got you. I thought you were saying like you were trying to
Survivor draft.
Now, obviously, I would say like she's a villain because like Traitors and even Big Brother, I think she played a more villainous game. But now looking at like. And that might just be because I hate her son on that show.
Oh my god!
But
good job adding on that show.
Just because I've never met him in person, I don't want to say it because also like because that's the thing. She's so like lovable, but you're right. Lovable villains can happen. The only thing
what Ingrid said the other day is Suri is the people's hero.
Yes, but I think also with villains, it's like there's an element of like you love to hate them. And I never love to hate Suri. I just love her. But I'm never like, oh, she's bad. But she is.
My second favorite villain. All right, so I have a top 3 favorite players of all time. 2 of them are villains, if we're considering Suri a villain, which I do. My second favorite, which Dylan, you know who it is. I've never hated that dude once.
I don't even know who that is.
But... You know who my second favorite.
Oh, yeah. You don't consider them a villain?
I do. I've never not rooted for them though.
Oh, okay, I got you.
See, he roots for the villain, which is
I never hate him ever, but he is undoubtedly a villain. We'll get to it when we get to it.
I was going to say, I need Dylan to make his villain pick at some point so I can hear who this person is.
Suri is more of a villain than the one I think Matt's talking about. I will say that. But I that's another conversation for another time. If we're thinking about the same
all times is like, what are we doing?
If we're thinking of the same person, I don't want to get too much caught up in the semantics because I do.
My feelings are hurt that you don't know who I'm talking about.
I assume you're talking about the other player on Sandra's season from Pearl Islands, no?
No.
Oh, okay. Oh, so it's not the tie-dye pirate.
He's not a villain.
Well, that's why I was so confused. That's why I was so confused. I thought that was your other favorite player of all time.
Okay, we'll get to it. I have 3. I said I have 3 favorites. You mentioned
Sandra, Parvati, and I thought that person. No,
Sandra.
You're not listening to her. He just talked about what he doesn't like.
Sorry, Suri. Okay, last thing I'll say on this. I thought you were talking about Suri, Parvati, and then that person, the tie-dye guy.
Parvati
and I was like, that is not a villain.
Is in my top 5, but not in my top.
I got you now. Okay, so it's that. Okay, sorry if I tipped a pick for later, but I won't pick that. Don't worry. Okay, now I got it. So you don't. I was like, I don't think that guy's a villain. Anyway, okay, we'll get there when we get there. Does anyone have any thoughts on Suri? I'm sold. Suri's a villain. Not the most villainous, but is a villain. If we're gonna say more, 51-49 villain for me. Yes, you've convinced me. Great player though. I'm glad she's on. The thing is, she's on this first round. That's what matters. No matter how she's drafted.
Right.
Ingrid.
In her words, she's a gangster in an Oprah suit.
Yeah.
There you go. Yes.
I feel like that sums it up beautifully. And we love her for it.
Yes. And I know we've talked so much about semantics, but any last thoughts on Suri? Karly, anything for Suri?
I mean, I want her to be my mom. I just want her to like comfort me and tell me it's going to be okay. Like she's just so, you can't even describe. She's just got this otherworldly thing where it's like, you want to trust her. And like, there's no way she wins 50. There's no way people are stupid enough to bring her.
Don't manifest that.
But maybe they are stupid enough to bring her.
All right, we need another fifth. We need a person to take over for Karly right
we
now.
We need like
I want her to win so bad. I just don't
Rizzo.
Think we
need Rizzo and Coach, or like Coach and like these players that are just never going to be voted seriously at the end to take Suri.
If she goes to the end with Q, yeah.
Like
Q and Rizzo circle every Wednesday night for the rest of the year.
That's her.
Angelina.
God, can you imagine the Q Coach Suri final 3?
That's what if I'm Suri going on 50, I'm picking up Coach, Joe, because they're both very loyal, but they don't know how to sell their games at the end. I would take Rizzo, Jonathan. Well, even Jonathan, though, I worry that like maybe
I would worry more about Rizzo than Jonathan.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, true. No one's gonna let Rizzo get.
I think Rizzo's gonna sell his case more than Jonathan.
Oh yeah, Rizzo could sell his case.
No, the problem with Rizzo is that he will get rid of Suri.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think Rizzo's toast, but we'll talk about that when we do our cast assessment. But any last thoughts on Suri? We love her. She's the best.
Not to mention my friend Rizzo.
Best player to never win.
I love how we just tipped like 25 picks.
I think at this point, I think we can like talk openly about like if a player has played with another player, we can talk about that player in context of that player. Just maybe not be like I was discussing between this. Like we won't do that. But like obviously Suri has played with so many people that it's okay to say like she was partnered with Michaela. And, okay. I'm up. I don't want to pick a villain because now I don't have to until the very end. So that's nice. And that actually makes my strategy of the Jillian Larson or not Jillian Larson, the Sanctuary easier too. So I'm thriving. I'm gonna go with
All right, since he's the only one left, Boston Rob is my other villain.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not picking him.
Thank you so much.
But is he a villain? I'm kidding.
Oh God,
so,
come on.
Okay, this is
not in here as villains, but
this is going to be a hard pick.
We're not doing this.
The thing is, all four of these players that we've already drafted represent a bunch of different iconic seasons. There's one season though that none of them are on that is in my top 5 that I want to get only because it's also my first season I watched, and I kind of want the sentimental tie of like my draft starting with the first season I ever watched, and one that I think because the players in it, a few of them have returned a lot, but none of them have returned past, I mean, most of them since 20, and then one person was on Cambodia, but like hasn't really been represented a lot in like newer Survivor. No one was on Winners of War. No one was on Game Changers. So I'm going to go with Survivor China as my pick. That's my first season I ever watched. And I also know it's very popular, so I'm worried someone might snipe it, especially because we've talked a lot about, these big returnee seasons that like Parvati and Sandra and Suri were on, that I'm not, I want to pick something that's all fresh faces, gave us some great characters because I'm talking about the season. I'll talk about some names, but like Todd, obviously being the first winner I ever got to watch, such a fantastic winner, especially because he's a very unconventional winner. He's not in power the whole time, but then he gets power, but then he also has to sell himself because he doesn't necessarily show that to the jury, and then kind of unleashing that and showing the jury and making Jean Robert feel so dumb. Later on, speaking of the genre bear of it all, great villains. James, someone that is a hero turned villain later on in Survivor, but is just such a great character that season. I think the whole final 3 is maybe the most even in terms of like every single one of them. I think if they had sold their case well enough, could have won. I think Amanda probably played the best game of the 3, just couldn't sell it. Then Courtney being the one that was underestimated, the fun underdog, and then Todd being the one who's, the one who ultimately gets the victory. It's one of the first Survivor seasons I ever watched, the first episode I ever watched with Chicken, his exit, iconic. Great location. I also love when Survivor takes place in like a place that's not a beach. I like that element of it. It's kind of marshy and swampy and gross and disgusting, which helps, lend to some really anxious storytelling and Survivor relationships. And there's a romance that has aged very poorly that I think dogs the season down a little bit. And then obviously I'm talking about Eric and Jamie. I don't want to get into it because there's some real life, real life bad stuff tied to that relationship. But also, the double idol James Blindside being on the first season I ever watched, like that is something that if you are not hooked by then, you get hooked then. And then it's like, James is coming back next season. Let's see if he can make it. And then you just get hooked. Like having to start with China and then immediately be like, wait, I get to watch James and Amanda again. Both these players that I love that didn't win, that are also going to work with each other again. And then after watching that, being hooked by so many other players that 3 seasons later, we got heroes versus villains. So like, I love how that was the entry point for me because that stretch of 5 seasons from China to Heroes vs. Villains is so consistent. There's not a bad season amongst them. And the one that everyone says is bad is sneakily one of my favorites. There was a whole advantage named after my favorite player from that season. So I really do think this is just such a great stretch of Survivor, and it starts with China. I think it was on a little bit of a lull. I don't love the seasons right before China. China's where it really kind of just levels up and becomes the Survivor that I love most. So I want to pick it, even though I do think there are arguments for better seasons. It's not my number 1 season, but it is the most important one to me, and the one that if I'm ever getting someone started with Survivor, like my girlfriend Allie does not watch it, I might show her this season and be like, do you like this? Because also, Todd just being also gay and Mormon and like having like just like this underdog in general, really, really cool to just show that anyone can win Survivor too. It's not necessarily the guy who's going to be the one you rely on when you survive on an island. Like if I were to watch that show for the first time, I would have been like, it's probably going to be, Frosty or one of these, or James, these guys who are providers, and then realize that this like scrawny young gay guy can win it, and that's kind of the same thing that happened with like the very first season too. It's just like the unconventional, not scrawny, but like the unconventional, not at all, but like the unconventional person who like does you don't expect them to be the winner of like this like fight for harvest your own food and live and make fires. Like, it's not always we've never really gotten that type of winner really. Maybe a few times like Mike Holloway, maybe, but like, I like that about the show. The kind of like
the conventional, like obvious
blue collar.
I thought you were saying Mike Holloway was an unconventional winner, and I was going to be like,
no, but he's the guy, like you expect like a Jonathan to win every season. If you just tell any random person on the street, what do you think Survivor's about? Who do you think would win in a Survivor season? Everyone would probably say, oh, whoever the strongest guy, the guy who looks like the island guy. But it's not, and I love that about China too. But I'll stop talking about China because I know we have many more picks to go, and it's already been an hour. But what are your thoughts on China, everyone?
Okay, China's on my list. It's one of the best seasons ever, and the fact that was your first season is really cool. Like, and I knew that about you already, and because while I was going through my Survivor thing, we chatted a lot about it, and China is a great season, has a lot of really great people on it. Amanda is a master at playing the best game of the season and then not winning at the end of her season. But that, that whole thing was so great. And I don't like James like at all. Like I'm not in, like there's no point where I'm rooting for James at any point. So the fact that a lot of that season is built around his downfall, I really like as well. It's also the first season where they changed the and for people who don't know this about me, I'm an opening credits guy. We have a no skipping intros rule at my house. I love intros. It's the first season where they started to do like interesting things with it. Like they changed it once it went to like jury and stuff like that. And not only that, but the music is so good and the visuals are really good. It's one of the best intros that they've ever done on Survivor. It's just a really freaking great season. And Todd, he's one of my favorite, low key, one of my favorite winners. Like we don't talk about him a lot, but I don't know if I've ever been as excited about a winner as I was when Todd won. So like he's just such a likable dude and such a good winner. That's a great pick. China.
I hope Todd. I don't think he'll ever be back on Survivor. I just think it's been enough time that he's not necessarily the most popular. And I don't know if Jeff is like itching to have Todd back. I hope he has like a Sesternino moment though and goes on Traitors. I really think that would be really cool because I think that's also a lower commitment, so you don't have to worry about all the health stuff that he's dealt with and the risk of slipping back. And you just can, even though I think he's in a much better place and can like totally hold his own. But like maybe they just don't want to put him on the island again. But I think he could do well on Traitors, and I think he'd be unassuming too because he's older, he's wiser, he's not the biggest threat, he's not the biggest name. Even though, I don't know. I won't spoil that season.
I really like the China pick. It was on my list. I just pulled up. I have like a Google sheet of like my ranking of all seasons. China's, for me, it's number 10. So it does place in the top 10 for me. I don't really have much more to add. I think you and Maddie have covered it, but good pick. Wasn't what I was gonna pick, but it was on my list. Karly? I will say the one thing you said that did offend me was you said that you don't really like the seasons leading up to it, and 2 of the 3 seasons before it are 2 of my I really love 2 of those seasons.
I think I'm not going to tip picks because I mean we know what the seasons leading up to China are.
Yeah, we know.
But the one with Yul and Ozzy, I'm not the biggest fan of. I just I love the characters that it's produced. I just don't love that season, probably because of just the way. I really don't know what it is. Maybe just like that middle stretch, all those players just are so insignificant to me. But also, then season after, I think there's a few great figures like Dreams and Yao Man. But like for me,
I was not talking about that season. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I love that season. I like Dreams though.
I do think that season's underrated. I think it gets more hate than it should.
Yeah. Karly or Ingrid, whoever wants to.
I actually have not seen Survivor China. This is one of the few seasons that I have not
watch
seen.
It.
Spoilers.
Very good.
I just spoiled
I know everything. because I started watching in Micronesia, and I think China is the season right before that.
Yep.
So
Yes.
it's I will eventually get to it because I'm slowly rewatching like the early seasons.
And you've watched a lot of like the compilation videos and stuff, and you've heard.
Yeah. I know every winner.
You know
I know a bunch of like the biggest moment. Like I've seen a lot of clips of just Courtney being Courtney. So
I don't want people in the comments to be like, "Why is she on this draft?" I'm like, she's on this draft because she still studies up.
I've only seen 45 of the 50 seasons.
Listen, I've never seen the first Big Brother season. I still have never, and probably won't ever. So I started with Big Brother 2. When watching back,
that's the first season of Real Big Brother. So
yes, but again, a lot of people haven't, and people would say I'm not a Big Brother fan. I'm like, I am.
That's also something I watched with my mom in high school.
Nice. Ingrid, thoughts on Chinese last
I have like 2 little tidbits. Because I don't think we talked about this. Forgive me if we did, and my brain wasn't processing it. But the challenges in China are really cool. And very unique to the season, and I really like that aspect of it as well. That we hadn't really talked about that. Mm-hmm. It's so Chinese, and I like say that in such a I don't know anything about like Chinese culture for real way, but like they truly like immerse you in what China has to offer, from the temple at the beginning to the art, the art of war and the challenges and freaking fireworks in the sky at a challenge. Are you kidding me? Like, the dancers and having to like remember who was wearing an anklet or whatever they said. Like all that stuff is like it's so unique to Survivor China, which I appreciate. As like that's a common complaint of the new era and the Fiji era of Survivor is that it's all in the same place and kind of the same, whereas like China clearly does not have that issue. And then my other thing is that I have a personal connection to Survivor China. Ashley Macero's daughter went to my elementary school and was one of my best friends in like 4th and 5th grade. And she obviously did not live with her at the time because Ashley was still doing all of her wrestling stuff, but whenever she was home, she would like come have lunch with us at school and like buy us McDonald's and stuff. And like, this was, like I said, Gabon was my first season, so I had not seen China at the time when this was happening. But I do remember there being like a day where I was like talking about watching Survivor, and she was like, I was on Survivor. And I was like, no, you weren't. What? And so incredible woman, not enough time on Survivor. And may she rest in peace. But like that's just a fun tidbit that I like to share when people talk about it. Because
thank you for sharing that. That's
really cool. I do want to mention that you had you talked about the challenge, how the theme and how Chinese it was. That is one thing I will mention about that, is that Survivor does not have the best track record of going to a place and being respectful of their culture. It's often very exploitative.
Right. And that's why I said like I don't know much. So
but I feel like China was one of like, I think it stands apart in that it felt respectful. Like it felt like they were honoring the culture rather than exploiting it. So
also having PG on the season too, and like having a big part of the season be her exploring her roots too, was beautiful. I mean, that's just like a great like character arc too. And along the lines of Ashley, recipes Ashley, great personality. I wish we had more of her on Survivor, but just the fact that all the pre-merge is still full of great characters. Like the only one I could really tell you very little about is Sharia, but even then I know she's part of like a big tribe swap. Yeah, exactly. Aaron being this like literally front runner of the game gets sniped out by the tribe swap, and then like Dave Cruiser being this like lunatic, like second coming of Richard Hatch in a way. And then you have obviously Chicken and Ashley and Leslie, like all these really, really memorable people, Yeah. And the challenges, I just love how equitable it is, because Courtney beat James in a challenge. James never won an immunity challenge on all of Survivor, but on this season especially, like that just shows how equitable the season is, that James couldn't win a challenge. And Courtney did. So
love of my life.
I love Courtney.
We love Courtney. So robbed in the edit on Heroes vs. Villains. But I'm gonna move on to mine. I have my tribal council up next, just because there are so many great tribal councils. But for me, I'm not going to get Parvati. I'm not going to get Suri. I already took my season. So I'm going to pick a moment from my other favorite. I'm just kidding. You can't do that. Only one person can take this away from me, and I'm worried she's going to. So I'm going to take my shot here and say my favorite tribal council. It might not even be my favorite, but it's the most iconic, I think, and that is Eric giving up the necklace to the Black Widow. I couldn't get Saria, couldn't get Parvati, I couldn't get that season, so I'm picking that moment as a representative of that season.
Well,
and
you
just
could have gotten that season. You chose.
Yeah, you could have.
But that's the thing. I knew I was going to take this, so I was like, this will be my representation. Then I can, because I'm not going to choose anything else from China. But I was like, this is a great moment, and it's also just a great tribal council because you know it's coming. Or maybe you don't. The first time you're like, is it actually going to happen? And then it happens. You're like, whoa! And you see every single vote. You show every single vote. That's only been done one other time since, and that's Q. Maybe one other time. I don't remember. But the fact that you see every single vote come in, so you know it just and then you just know the outcome. It's not suspense of the vote, but you know as soon as he gives it away, he's toast. But then watching every vote come in and the confessionals of those votes, Cerie's confessional, you can always beat him with these. Parvati and Amanda just all digging into him. Natalie, who was such a non-entity, and then this episode made her iconic because she's the one who ultimately gets the necklace. She has to do a lot of the hard work too. It was such a combined effort to see it pulled off. There's one other tribal council I really want to pick, but it's New Era, and I feel like not to waste my pick on New Era, but like I don't want to say that. But I'm such
we're gonna have
fired.
I don't want to shot.
The more Dylan talks, the more I want Karly to use the idol.
I
don't want to fire too many shots on the New Era, but there is another tribal council in the New Era that reminds me of this, where you watch a plan executed. Whenever you watch a plan executed so well, it's really, really refreshing to watch. And then when you rewatch knowing what's going to happen, it's just so delicious to watch him just get the wool pulled over his eyes. And if he was more upset about it, it'd be a lot harder to take it, but he's been a really good sport about it the years since. So he's always fun to watch on Reddit. Whenever this comes up, he's like, you still talking about that? But he's a good sport about it. But yeah, I think it's an iconic tribal featuring probably 3 of my top 10 players of all time. And even Eric at the time was like one of my favorite players too. So I just think it's a really great moment, great tribal, not just that moment blindside, but like the tribal itself is iconic. So Karly, I'll go to you first because I'm a little worried. And obviously, you know, I know there's a potential that you could steal this. That's why I wanted to talk about it and gush about it. But before I let anyone else speak, am I keeping this pick or not?
Yes,
Karly?
you're keeping it. It's on my list, but there's another Parvati tribal that is closer to my heart.
Okay, that's fair.
But I mean, what's there to say? Jeff brings it up like every few years. Like every time they can flash back to it on Survivor, they flash back to it on Survivor, or they bring it up. So it's so iconic. And I love, like you said, how everyone has their role. Parvati's role is to be a bitch and to make Eric feel the pressure to give it up. And like, just everyone they play it perfectly. And I love how at first they're like, why would we even try this? He's not that stupid, right? And then I wouldn't call him stupid for doing it necessarily. I don't think it's the stupidest move of all time, like some do, but yeah, it's perfect. It's insane. It's crazy that it happened, and it's such a good moment.
Yes, Matt, this is her villain moment. I'll give you that for sure.
This is an iconic moment. I love how this is the Black Widow Brigade at their peak. Like this is them executing, and talk about Cirie as a villain. How she talks about how she's a mob boss. This is her as a mob boss. Like this was her idea, and then like the rest of them went out and executed. Like that was or I guess it wasn't her idea, but she is the one who like finalized the plan on that. Anyway, not the point. It's a brilliant moment. I told you I only have 2 written down on for Tribal Council, and this was one of them.
Ooh.
But I do go next, and I'd like to remind Karly that we're in an alliance.
Karly, you have the possibility to do the coolest thing ever right now. I'm not going to encourage you.
But anyway, this is an iconic moment. I absolutely love it. I was on trying to figure out other tribal councils that I wanted to put down. I was on Reddit today, and there was a post from a year ago where people were like, hey, what's one of the most iconic? And the top one was Eric giving up his immunity idol. And under that, Eric says, are we still talking about this?
I told you, it's everywhere.
It's amazing. But yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Ingrid?
I'm so glad that Eric is a good sport about this, because truly it's been like 15 years and we will not let him rest. But no, I love this moment. It's one of those that like because Jeff brings it up, I knew about it before I ever watched the season. I like knew who I want to give individual immunity to Natalie was before I ever saw Eric on my screen for real. And all of that. I think it's just the culmination of that Black Widow brigade truly is this moment where like they are able to pull the wool over his eyes and stuff. And this poor little boy. And there is that moment of like, he wouldn't do that. Would he?
Yeah.
And the way that they're able to do it so beautifully, and the jury laughing is incredible. James is like, I'm not the stupidest one anymore. Yay. like the jury reactions, the way he just kind of hangs his head and he's like, you girls make me crazy, is like so cute, so funny. Like there truly is nothing else like it. And like there are so many iconic tribal councils. Like low-key, this one was not on my list. I forgot. But at the same time, like there is nothing that feels the same way that one does. And like what you said about the plan being executed, it's like so beautifully done. And like watching my creature for the first time, I was like, when is this going to happen? Like, I know this is coming, but like when? So seeing it like come to fruition, I was like, oh, the storytelling is beautiful. So yeah, super iconic, wonderful, great pick. I forgot it existed for a second. Okay.
Watch Heroes. What is it? Heroes vs. Villains, Ghost Island. They bring it up all the time. Yeah. It is probably the most referenced moment of all time too. Austin, thoughts on this one?
Agreed.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
There's not much more to say. So
yeah. Just a question. What do we think happens if he doesn't give it away? Do they vote out Natalie, the other three?
I think so.
And then what happens? Do we think he wins? Because chances are he'll win immunity, or maybe Parvati win. I don't know. Or
I don't know if
I
he can beat. I don't think he can beat Parvati or Amanda. I think
it's Amanda.
The with the plates and the bowls. I think.
So you think he's out in fourth, no matter what?
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
I think even if he makes it to final tribal, he does not win. So
yeah, I think he could beat. I think
the question is who's there.
Yeah.
I don't think he could beat Parvati or Sari, but he might be able to beat Amanda. But also, it depends on what the jury. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, there's Parvati and Sari on that jury helping Amanda win. I think.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
True. All right. Well, that's a good what if scenario.
People,
it seems like he's doing either way.
Too deep of a hole to go into now.
I was about to say. Cool. All right, Matt. Go ahead. Sorry, I was trying to think about what if I could use any sort of power now, but I can't. Not until round 3.
I mean, I think we all know what I'm about to pick and what Karly might do, even though we are in an alliance. I'm definitely going to go with Parvati's idol gambit with the two playing the two idols.
JT's blindside.
Yeah, Well, no, I don't care about JT.
The JT Memorial.
I care about the badass move that she did. So yeah, it's such a badass move because she doesn't protect herself. She protects 2 other people. It is what makes her one of the greatest players of all time. The knowing when to take fire shot, when to shift it this way, just knowing how to strategize those type of moves. And she did it so fearlessly and with such an attitude. I absolutely love that moment, Karly.
Karly, is he keeping?
I'm pondering.
Was this the one you were alluding to?
No, I got Parvati, so I will let you have. Want to spread the Parvati wealth a little bit. Everyone deserves a little bit of her. So,
what an oxymoron! Poverty wealth.
Poverty.
But I do want to talk about it a little bit.
Yes,
it's so beautiful.
I broke Dylan, guys.
It's so beautiful how Amanda's like, oh, you should play that thing. And Parvati's like, oh, I'm safe. So I'm going to play it for these 2 people. Mm-hmm. And like just the drama of being like, oh, I'm playing one. And then like, oh, let's see what else I have in my little bag. It's just, she's so good. The way she does it is so good. And the way the heroes are like, damn it. We thought we got it. We thought we predicted who she'd play it on. And they even say in the confessionals, we're playing this on you because no one's going to give you an idol. And then it's just beautiful. Beautiful. And my favorite part is how Russell's like, I didn't know about that second idol. Like, I love her getting one up on him while being in an alliance with him. It's beautiful.
Right. I agree. It's really good. I was not gonna pick it. I'm someone who has a very probably my number one most unpopular Survivor opinion is that I think it's just an okay move by Parvati. I don't think it required much more than her being able to tell that her best friend Amanda was lying to her. Danielle's immune. The heroes are assuming Russell's flipping with them. She can tell by talking to her best friend Amanda that Amanda is a horrible liar to Parvati. She knows none of those three are getting the votes. Therefore, it can only be Jerry or Sandra. And I think it would be a much more impressive move if she just correctly played one and was able to keep the second one for herself.
I disagree. I think you're doing this in front of jury members, and people who aren't on the jury are going to be on the jury.
I thought the same thing, Austin, for a long time, but I think the twist there is that also what Karly said with Russell, making Russell look dumb just by the showmanship of it. I do ultimately doesn't pay off because the jury ultimately doesn't really,
I don't think it does pay off to the jury the way because
to me the Russell thing too
the Russell thing too is like, even though he does it at Tribal, it's so between them that I don't think anyone even notices that Russell looks at him and is like, I didn't know about that.
And the danger is also that this could force Russell to flip in the next Tribal where it is then a 5-4 if he's like pissed off about it. But my thing though is that like for TV purposes, it's still
TV
great.
Moment,
And also,
I agree with it being iconic and great TV.
And the poetic nature of it being JT who gave the idol to them, being the one to go home. I think that's a trick. And I know, Matt, you were like, I don't care about JT, but it is the fact that it is also JT who, if the heroes do have the advantage going forward, if they are able to get a villain out, if Russell does flip, JT wins that game because he is the one who's going. Like, they're not going to get rid of JT because it's the same thing as Token Teens. They love JT, and I don't think Amanda's going to flip on him. I don't think Colby's going to flip on him, and then Candace, they can get out before she flips on them. So I really think it's just, and then Rupert, they can also fool too with JT. Like, I think JT wins the game if this move doesn't happen, and I think that's big too. And even though, like, yes, she could have played it for Jerry, but JT could be smart enough to be like, guys, even let's just go to Sandra. That's easy because Sandra's not with them. I think there's a lot of loopholes that, covering your bases and playing it safe is not necessarily the worst thing.
No, I agree.
And I think it does create a more showy moment. It just, I wish the jury respected it more,
It's when I say I don't care, it's not Jay. That's not what it is.
Yeah.
Because that's not that's not what I care about in that.
That's not like what makes
that's not iconic. When you say, JT's blindside, I don't want you to call it that on the graphic.
Right.
Like that's not what's
Parvati's double idol play will be
right.
what is on there.
But I will say this. That of course it does matter how if it paid off. But to me, it's number one, it's about TV. Number two, and I've talked about this before. The difference between a stupid move and a all-time great move is razor thin. It really depends on how people who aren't you act, like how they respond to it. The Eric thing could have been nothing. It could have been, if it hadn't worked, it would have been a stupid thing that they tried. There's so many things that people consider all-time stupid moves that as the page master would say, with a turn of a page, would have been an all-time incredible move. I think this is an incredible move, no matter how it pays off, because it is showmanship, and obviously the jury didn't respect it much. But that is the play you are going for. You are doing this in front of jury members, and for that reason, it's incredible.
Yeah, Ingrid, any thoughts on this blindside move?
I mean, y'all said it. I agree pretty much with most of what's been said. Doing it in front of the jury, all that stuff. I think the big thing, and you kind of touched on it a little bit, Dylan, is that this is the point that allows the villains to take over the game. Because, like, yes, the heroes are imploding, like we know that, but I think they don't implode if JT stays in the game, or at least they implode a lot later. And so her being able to pull this off, whether she needed one or two idols, doesn't matter that much to me in when I look at it from this lens. Like, they took out the ringleader of the heroes, and the heroes crumbled because of it. And there was no way for them to rebuild, even with Sandra being like, take me with you, like over and over again. Like, and even then I also think there's a part of that like, her saving Sandra does gain a little bit of favor with Sandra.
It keeps Sandra with the villains too. Yeah, it prevents her from flipping with Rupert, because that's a big worry. Yeah, because Rupert and Sandra are close. That's actually a part I've never even thought about. Yeah, like by playing the idol on Sandra, you're guaranteeing that Sandra.
Jerry is going to be with the villains no matter what. She's not going to flip.
Because Sandra hates Russell, but she likes Parvati after this. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a good point. Yeah. Oh, I didn't think of that. That's good. Cool. Ingrid, you're up next though. What do you?
Oh my God. I forgot I had to pick things. That's not true.
We still have no heroes and no quotes. Yeah, just saying. Not that
I'm looking at my paper and trying to think of like what's the thing that like people are gonna want to pick, because I also have some like kind of niche opinions.
Mm-hmm. Niche opinions with Survivor? What?
I'm gonna stick on the tribal council trend.
Okay.
Something a little more recent, not that recent, but a little more recent. Not new era. I'm gonna go with the David versus Goliath, John Hennigan blindside.
Ooh, okay.
Before I realized that it was like tribal period, when you said blindside, this was the first thing that came to my mind. The way that they're able to split the minority vote is insane. Angelina makes me so angry, but like in this moment, she's really doing the most. And other people love that. I remember cheering and being so excited, like watching this live. Like, I feel like the way that I operate just as a Survivor fan, I feel like I don't think a lot about where I was when things happened, or like when they happen live. Like, I don't really think about that. I always like appreciate things more on the rewatch. But this was something that like I remember being like watching this live and being so excited at the result, and like how they were able to pull on over on them and all of that stuff, and how like the minority split and the meeting where they're all sitting there like, I have this and I have this and I have this, like leading up to it, and how gracious John was about the whole thing, like, and how sportsmanly he took it, was just like
that $1 million smile when he turns around and looks at him. That's such a great moment.
Such a fun tribal, such a fun moment, beautiful blindside, and no hard feelings. I am somebody who enjoys no hard feelings in Survivor because it's a game. And I think they picked the perfect person for that to happen to, and so I really enjoy that one a lot.
Yeah, and it's one of those things with like the theme of the season, like David versus Goliath. It's a perfect.
It is David's
getting one over on Goliath, because if they don't do this, they probably don't have much success, because this is not the nullifier too, right? That's right after,
that's
right?
The next one.
So just like the 1-2 punch of this in the next episode, just being that is just really incredible, because you're taking out like arguably the biggest guy on the biggest guy of the season. Great pick, great pick. Can't wait to watch Christian play again, and Angelina.
Oh, me too.
I'm
an Angelina hater. Sorry, not sorry. But that's beside the point.
That's fine. Oh,
that's a reasonable opinion to have.
I'm out of place.
I was a wrestling fan in high school, back when I first watched Survivor. Later in life, I became a wrestling fan again, and then I'm off wrestling again now. But that's not the point. The point is Johnny Mundo. When I saw that he was going to be on the season, I was like, "Hell yeah, we're gonna have to get badass up in this place." And so I was really excited. Like, I was obviously, I think everybody's kind of leans toward rooting for the Davids just because it's the underdog story, like stuff like that. And I was too, but I was still like hoping
he is the Goliath I'm rooting for in that season.
Yeah, like I'm hoping that he makes it, and that he keeps going. But that moment, like, I wasn't even upset. Like, even though he was like the guy I was rooting for on that team, like I wasn't even upset. Like, it was a great moment, and like I mentioned, he turns around with that smile, and he's just it's no hard feelings. Yeah. Like, it's rare that you have such such an iconic moment, such a great moment where it's not someone like yelling or crying on their way out. Like no one's like deeply hurt that they're leaving. It's a really great moment. It's rare and it's very good.
Yeah, I think the only one who's butthurt with this move is Angelina.
Because she was the star of the show.
This is the episode where she burns the idol on Dan too, right? Or Dan burns it on Angelina.
Well, she goes if he doesn't.
Right, and that's
like
the thing.
He plays it elsewhere.
She has a survivor's guilt of it too, and knowing that like they could have played it on John, you know. So yeah, I think that's
she's so obnoxious about it too.
Austin, I'm a fellow Angelina stan too. By the way.
I need to file for divorce.
I love Angelina as well. I'm just saying that an opinion against her is not an unreasonable.
No, it's not. Yeah,
that's fair. Survivor guilt is a great pun. Is that something that people talk about, or did you just come up with that? I mean, I know survivor guilt is a real thing. That's why it's just
survivor's guilt.
It's good wordplay.
The fact that it would have been her if the idol wasn't played on her. Yeah.
Sorry. Go on.
Yeah, this was now I just need to really hope that Karly doesn't pick the other tribal. I had two that were the top two side by side. I was debating, and now there's only one. This was one of this was one of them. So now I'm like, I really hope that Karly doesn't take the other one.
It's so funny because that's like my deepest category. There's so many great ones.
I have a ton. Don't get me wrong. I have a ton. But in that ton that I've listed, I have that one and one other that I was debating on as I realized people were starting to pick tribal councils. And yeah, it's such a range of like emotions here of like, you think the Davids are kind of screwed because they're so low in numbers, and then they play the idol correctly. And then you're like, oh, the Goliath is screwed, and then they play an idol. And then the votes are coming up, and we're like, oh my gosh, is this going to be another no votes tribal? And then that first John vote comes up. And I, as Ingrid was talking about, this is one tribal I remember where I was when it happened. I remember it was one where I had work that night of Survivor. I was working at an escape room, and we were super dead, thankfully. So I was able to just like pull it up on my phone and watch it. But I'm like standing at the front desk watching this go down. And that first John vote comes up, and I remember standing there and just my jaw dropping and being like, holy shit. So yeah, it's fantastic.
Awesome. Karly, any thoughts on this blindside?
I recently rewatched this season, and like it's so good. The season overall is just so good. Like just in this like this whole arc where you're like slowly seeing the Davids like get back control, and just it's fantastic. Like it's so like if I was gonna pick, I would have picked the Idol Nullifier Tribal Council over this one. But like they're both so good, and they kind of like feed into each other.
How funny would it be if Karly was like, it's so funny because I'm going to idol this pick because we never asked her if she wanted to.
True. I should be going to Karly first for all these. Yeah, Karly could have, after all this, just sniped it from Ingrid.
But
which probably would have made Austin happy because he probably would have gotten it unless she played it. And that's the strategy. I don't know. But Karly, you do get another pick right now. So what is going to be your pick?
What do I want? I don't think anyone's going to take my season. So in quotes, there's so many, and I'm not really attached to any of my heroes that are left because Matt stole my hero and made her wrong. But
Austin taking the deep breath, knowing she's about to take a tribal council.
I am going to take a tribal council. It is New Era, if that helps.
That helps.
Ooh, I hope it's my set. I hope it's my backup.
Take whatever you want.
I don't think it is because it's not. It's from 46.
Oh.
Okay. It's the tribal council in which Q tries to quit and then just complete chaos.
I'm so upset.
It's so good. It's so good. It's probably the reason 46 is my favorite New Era season and like in my top 5 seasons ever.
I'm so upset.
Beautiful.
Remind me, who goes home in this?
Oh, I'm about to tell you.
I'm
about to tell you.
I
just said I'm about to tell you, Austin.
Oh, sorry.
Just kidding. Tevin was my winner pick.
Oh, right. And you hated Q.
And I hated Q. I still hate Q. I'm excited to see him go home in 50. That's the most thing I'm most excited about.
Q for 50. Win 50.
Oh, fuck off.
I cannot wait to see how many times he tries to quit on 50. I'm so excited.
I will first boot, so we're not going to have that many times.
Tevin was my winner pick. He was one of my 2 favorites on that season anyway. Even if I hadn't been my preseason winner pick, like he was one of my 2 favorites on that season. And someone's trying to quit, and they still voted out my winner pick. Yeah. I was very, very upset. Corey just rewatched it because we were trying to get ready for 50 or she just watched for the first time because I've watched all of them and she hadn't watched any at that point. And then once 50 was coming, we were watching a bunch of them. So we just rewatched it and I was angry all over again. It's a good pick, Karly. It enrages me so much.
Part of the reason I had to pick it is this is like, because I feel like this is like one of the tribal councils, every tribal council after it. I was just like seated. I was just so excited to see what Q was going to do, what was going to happen with everyone, what Venus was going to do, what Liz was going to do. Like, this is like the point in the season where I am just like loving every second. Like I do love most of 46, but like this is the point in the season that I'm just like, yes, the drama is here. Everyone hates each other. It's beautiful. And I love it so much. It's just complete and utter chaos.
It's so wild.
The Q skirt is a smock. He just recreated a smock. It's not a thing.
It's so wild. And I know I speak for Ingrid when I say this too. This is the moment in which we hate 46. Like, this is my least favorite moment of the season. And then every round that he continues to survive, I just get angrier. Like, wow.
We have some Q haters here.
I am a certified. I will say this. For the longest time, like all the way up until probably like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was like certified Q hater. And then we were watching one of the Survivor channels on Paramount, and this tribal council comes on, and I couldn't understand it. And so I went looking for exit press. Because I was like, there's no way he doesn't talk about this somewhere. And I need to know, like, is this a play? Like, is he saying, vote me out? Is he truly trying to quit? Or is it to blindside Tevin still? And then when I read his reasoning, I was less angry. I will say that. He said it was like a genuine, like, personal thing where he felt very at fault for the fact that Tevin's name was out there, that he did not want Tevin to go. And he said when he played sports in college, if like there was like a game where they lost the game because he fumbled the ball, and whenever that would happen, they had to run as many laps as points they lost by. And he said that he volunteered to his coach to run the laps for everyone on the team because the whole team shouldn't have been punished and run all the laps because he fumbled the ball.
Nope, I'm still mad.
That was like the real life Q play, and I was like, okay, I still don't love it, but like I see that more, and I'm less mad about it. And then I will say, when I saw his little quote in the 50 promo, I chuckled and I said, damn, okay, maybe I don't hate him.
The worst part though is that he still votes Tevin out though. It's 2 votes. The only one who doesn't vote for Tevin is Hunter.
Yes. And we know why.
4D chess. He's playing 4D chess, everyone.
Listen,
oh my God.
What you said with I hadn't read that, what Q said about that vote. And I was about to, I was certain all of the things that he possibly could have said. And that's about the only one that I'm not going to go, he's lying about that. Because that's weirdly the most humble he's ever been, it sounds like. Because anything else, if he put it down to strategy in any way, I was a liar.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, every time he tries to quit pre-merge too, every time he tries to like throw out his name pre-merge, it's the same sentiment of I lost the stat challenge. I should go home.
The thing is, if you do that on 50, they're gonna be like, all right.
All right, bye.
So
please, I'm begging you. I'm begging you.
We'll talk
about it. If there are no Q haters, I'm dead. Let me first start by saying that I'm happy to see new era representation on this draft.
Yeah, Dylan. Some of us like the new era. Go back to Reddit.
If there are no new era fans, I'm also dead. I do not have nearly as many qualms with the new era as most Survivor fans that have been watching for a long time do. However, the rage that I feel every time that Q tries to quit Survivor and they don't let him, and then he acts like he's like the best. It just makes me so unbelievably angry. Also, justice for Mariah Gaynor. Thank you. For getting sniped over literally nothing. I'm so excited to see Aubrey punch Q in the face on national television. Can't wait. Yeah.
I think Ingrid and Matt will never. Matt and Ingrid will never be seen on this channel again if Q gets out Aubrey. Like I really do think we will never see them.
You will have me for that episode recap. Like so that I can throw a tantrum and then I'll leave.
I don't think you will ever willingly come back on this channel if that is the case. I think you'll be too angry.
That will be my last straw.
No, not that anything's going to happen to you guys. I'm saying you won't want to if
I'm not worried about me. I'm worried about that thing you just put into the world about Aubrey.
I don't know, man. We'll see.
Not too much of my queen Aubrey.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, those are the only real things that haven't been said that I felt were important.
Yeah.
I hate him so much.
I also need to mention that there was no way to impress Q during hide and seek because everything was a big mistake.
Oh,
yeah. Which is the same episode. Iconic. If we were drafting episodes, this is probably my number two new era episode.
It's very iconic,
yeah.
I'm ready. I'm ready not to cancel my dentist appointment, but to cancel his. Thank you.
I wonder if Austin's gonna pick my new era tribal. My second pick was a new era tribal, y'all. Like I like the new era,
and so
it's just I didn't want to make the number one overall tribal council a new era just because I feel
it won't be a new era, but I'm also not going to pick it because now I don't have to.
Well, what are you going to pick, Austin?
You get just like Dylan can wait for his villain forever now.
You would get 2 picks in a row, but because of my advantage, I am getting the pick after you.
I figured. I figured you were. And that's why I'm not gonna. I was thinking about maybe picking my season here. But you can't pick a season, and after you pick, I'll still get my pick. So I don't have to pick my season now. So I'm still not sold on the hero. I sent Maddie Fresh, so I'm still gonna leave it out there in case someone wants to take them.
No,
I don't need to pick my tribal council now, so I'm going quote.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that there is the iconic Survivor quote that I think if I don't take it first, it's like blasphemy. And I had a long list of ones I was like, oh, this is hilarious. This was so badass. Like, these are all so amazing things. But I think at the core and at the root, there's one phrase, there's one quote. And I am taking "The tribe has spoken."
Okay. Yeah.
As my iconic quote.
Yeah.
And I think when people first hear that like iconic quote, when they see that category, they're not gonna think things like "The tribe has spoken" right off the bat. I think they're gonna start thinking about some things that have already been said throughout the recording of this episode. But it's just like Jeff talks about it in interviews sometimes of like when he is at that very first tribal council where Sonia Christopher gets voted out, he has no idea what he's going to say. He has no idea what he's going to do. And they're going through the whole thing and it just like dawns upon him within like the last few minutes of when he has to do it. And they're like, you have to say something. You have to say something. Like, what are you going to say when people leave? You can't just say, see ya. And like he said, "The tribe has spoken." And it was just so fitting and so like monumental to the course of what Survivor is at its core.
I love that. That was my number one pick in quote. So that was actually probably smart because I don't think anyone's going to take my hero, and I know I get my villain to fall. So I would have taken that with my next pick. So but I'm not like, oh, I didn't get that because there's another one I'm really excited to get next that I might snipe from someone else. But I do love that quote, and that is, I think, if you look at like that's the only one that's said every episode. There's one other quote that's said every episode. but this is the one that I think is like on t-shirts, you know. So I think it's a great pick. Anyone? I think the quotes probably won't require a ton of talking, but anyone thoughts on The Tribe Has Spoken?
I actually didn't consider anything that Jeff says. So like I have a bunch of like player quotes, but it makes sense. Like it's weird because like I have it number one and I it feels secure. Like I feel like no one's going to take it, but as soon as you started talking, I was like, he's about to take mine. You're never gonna no one is. But
no one is.
Watch, I'm going to take it next. I promise you.
Oh, you know what? I'd be a little bit happy. I did end up. Originally, I only had this one, and then Corey told me that I should do more because it's iconic. I was like, it's iconic to us. But I did make a list now. But no, it's great. It is legitimately iconic. You don't have to watch Survivor to know how iconic it is. So like, it's like it's amazing. It's a good pick.
Great. Karly, any thoughts on this?
No, it's good.
Cool. Ingrid, any thoughts on this one?
Not super. Just that was big brain of you, and I expect nothing less from my husband. So you know.
Good. So I'm going to head to the sanctuary where good things happen, and instead of waiting 4 more tries for a pick to come back around to me, I'm gonna take my quote now. Just because no one's taking quotes, I've already gotten my season, and I don't really care about my hero because I'm not my number one hero was someone else's villain. So I'm gonna go with my quote, and I was gonna quote it, but my Google is not complying right now. But it's a long quote. It's a whole speech. I'm going with the Snakes and Rats speech is my quote. I'm just quoting the whole monologue. I'm not going to put the whole quote in the box, but it is one long quote from Sue.
In the end, let it be as nature intended, that the snake eat the rat.
Yes, but like, there's also a part of me that's like, I want the whole thing. You know, like on one hand we have Richard. I want him like because it's uninterrupted. So I'm like, honestly, I could just take the whole speech. It's one big quote. You know, but the Snake and Rat speech is probably the most iconic like player quote, I think, in terms of just like, you know, in terms of how much impact it had on the game, because there's other quotes that are just memorable and iconic and like true to characterizing players. Like we always associate Q with that quote from Hide and Seek that we just quoted, but like I think actually we probably quote another quote of his too, about December 25th. But yeah, I think this quote just kind of sums up the game, and also is when it told everyone who was probably watching it, like, why would you ever vote for Richard? Like, he's a backstabber. You got to vote for someone honorable. It kind of breaks down Survivor and the whole like strategy of Survivor in one monologue. It really kind of just like sums up what this game is and what is valuable or what should be valuable when selecting a winner. That if she doesn't make this speech and she kind of votes with honor and, you know, who won the most challenges and who survived the best out there on the island, Kelly probably wins, and we don't have 50 seasons. Like I genuinely think so, because we saw her on a return. She's vanilla, you know, and I love her, but like she's iconic. But like, you know, Richard is such a character and such an unconventional winner, kind of like what I talked about with Todd. That, and also for Sue to be the one to do it, you know, they have bad blood. Obviously, what happens in All Stars is terrible, but still to like make bygones bygones and to still vote for him out of respect for the game, I think is a big part of Survivor too, and it kind of did pave the way for someone like Tony to win over Trish's vote. Someone like Rob to still get Kathy's vote. You know, and I think that's kind of why we have those moments and why we have villains who do end up winning the game is because of Sue and her speech and kind of telling everyone this is how Survivor should be played. So I'm going to go with that. I'm really happy with the Snakes and Rats speech as my quote. I think it's iconic. Yeah.
This was on my list.
Cool.
And I don't know if I've mentioned it yet, but I did watch this one as it aired. This episode. No, Sue is the first person to truly understand Survivor. And you could tell by that speech. Like, at this point, and there were a lot of people, let me just tell you, from living in that era, there are a lot of people who did not get it. They could not believe Richard won. I understood Survivor, like because her speech was exactly what I was thinking. I was like, Richard is obviously the winner. To me, there's no universe in which Kelly should have won. It always should have been Richard. Like, and that's why. And so, like, I understand that her sentiment. because that's how I felt about it. Funny little anecdote. My stepfather, who's an asshole, he's no longer my stepfather, but he was at the time, said, I hope they do a second season, but this time they need to outlaw alliances. Which told you that he didn't understand that show at all.
Oh my God. Go watch Naked and Afraid, bro.
But it's a brilliant quote. I agree. It is the thesis statement for the show, and you're right. If that hadn't happened, there's a chance that people would not have understood Survivor for what it was or what it should be, and it may not be the juggernaut it is today. So I agree.
Yeah, Karly, are you gonna use your idol on this one?
No.
Okay, cool. Do you want to talk about it? Any thoughts on this one?
No, pretty much said it all. It's a very iconic speech.
Yeah, Austin, Ingrid.
I think the only thing I'll say about it is it wasn't on my list. I didn't think to do something that long. When I was thinking of quotes, I was truly thinking. I guess my misinterpretation. I was thinking like one-liners. Like that was just how.
To be fair, on my list, it was just that last line.
That is kind of the intention of it, but then I was like, honestly, we could kind of.
I think it's. I agree with Ingrid about my pick about your pick. It's big brain.
Thank you, Ingrid. Any thoughts on my big brain?
I'll also say it's big brain. I did not have it on my list for the same reason Austin said. I was looking at one-liners, but and obviously, I did not watch that live. But I knew what it was. Hey, I might have been there. I don't know. But I knew what it was very early on in my Survivor watching experience as a kid, because it is extremely iconic. And it's kind of a really interesting culmination of the whole season, let alone, the impact it has on the show, because one of the first scenes in Survivor Borneo is, Stu and Rich disagreeing on how they want to set up camp and how they want to proceed in this environment where nobody knows how to proceed yet, because it's never happened before. And then they get to this end point where she has this respect for his strategic side more so than Kelly's. And I do think part of it was that she felt way more burned by Kelly than she did by Rich, and she was bitter. But at the same time, you're right. She understood the point. She understood the strategy. She understood all those things. And so she could have been emotionally hurt by Kelly's betrayal more so than Rich's, but at the same time, she respected it. And I think that is what Survivor is about. And that her being the deciding vote between the two of them essentially is a big deal. Because I agree, if Kelly had won, I don't know that we'd be at 50 seasons.
Yeah. Maybe, but I think Richard being the winner he was so iconic, as much as he is a problem nowadays in some ways. All right, Austin. So it is still you now. You were now the second pick, so it kind of just shifts. So this is just round three as normal.
It's season time for me because
because you're in the kitchen. You got salt, pepper.
Yeah.
He's making dinner because we didn't have time before.
He's seasoning, baby. Thank you for everyone who just got that.
The issue is I still hadn't fully nailed it down, but
you're I'm doing this. I still know what I'm doing.
I'm just gonna go with my number one. It's basic, but it just is, in my opinion, it's the true Super Bowl Survivor. I know they call a different season the Super Bowl Survivor, but in my opinion, Heroes versus Villains is the true Super Bowl Survivor. And it's got all the people, you could argue that there's a couple of duds on this cast, and a Sugar or a Candace on the cast, but truly it's every single casting choice on this, in my opinion, hits. The gameplay is next level, even if it's sometimes dumb. And we're giving idols to the other tribe, but there, in my opinion, there's no boring episodes for me. I all around, I think it's 10 out of 10.
Yeah. Number one, watch your mouth about Sugar.
But Sugar as a hero,
she sacrificed her her bikini top.
She did.
Evil.
Are you talking dud like in casting or dud once they played on Heroes vs. Villains? Because she was a dud in the fact that she didn't really do much on Heroes vs. Villains, but I think
She did plenty in that one moment.
Yeah, that's all we need.
For me, it's like a little bit of both. Like I don't know.
I just thought it was funny. You went from like the first boot, obviously, you know, like they didn't get to do much first boot, but then like 7th place or whatever.
I like Candace is that there's one on every returning player season of that. Like, really, Candace?
Here's the fun thing. Sometimes I'll be watching, especially because my wife has been watching a bunch of seasons, and sometimes I'm not like watching with her. I'm just like working while she's watching. I'll go, I've never seen that person before in my life. That's how I felt with Candace. I was like, I've never seen that person before.
Like
Candace from Railroad Tribe?
I can have that person and still love them. Like it's kind of like Tiffany on 50. It's like Tiffany, but I love Tiffany.
But yeah, I was gonna say
Not too much of my friend Tiffany now.
All the WTF picks, I think Tiffany's the best one.
The sugar of it all is kind of questioning, like, did we need Sugar? Second being like, is Sugar really a hero?
That's true.
Yes.
The way she does Kenny.
Okay, but the way
Sugar's a hero because Randy's the villain. Like that's
and we have both of them, Randy, and that's important.
Don't tip my villain pick. Don't tip my villain pick.
Okay, sorry. I hate Blank so much that I don't even care if it was uncouth the way she laughs at him out of Gabon. I think it's a brilliant moment.
Randy or Q, who do you like more?
Oh God. I don't know. I
will say Randy, top 10 character for me of the show. Like, not kidding. Like, I love Randy unironically. Don't think he's the best guy, but I just love watching Randy on my TV. But anyway, Heroes vs. Villains, great season. Iconic moments. We'll probably talk about maybe some more later. If not, we'll talk about some honorable mentions. But just full of some iconic moments. And I think Austin said it best. Every episode hits. There's not a dud episode where I'm like, like every episode hits. I can't think of one that's a dud, really. Maybe if anything, it's like the episodes later on this season. But even then, like, it's so cool to watch the Russell, like Parvati, Danielle. Yeah. But even then, I think that's the same. That's like the same episode as Treasure Island, I think, right? Or maybe that's an episode earlier.
Toby was watching Treasure Island.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, don't tip picks.
Yeah, don't tip picks.
So important.
Ingrid, any thoughts on Heroes vs. Villains?
So again, I watched Heroes vs. Villains way too early on in my experience to appreciate it in full when it was airing.
Mm-hmm.
I only knew like Sugar and Randy and Tyson and JT and Coach and Russell, and that was it. So it really did not have the impact that it needed to at that point in my life. And so for me, I was like, everybody loves this season and I don't care. This season is whatever, like it's fine. It's not that good, whatever. And it's still not my favorite, but it has grown on me significantly now that I have the full picture. And I think that context is important. In the grand scheme of things, we were listening to some of the RHAP Evolution of Strategy of Heroes vs. Villains over winter break. And so like, just like listening to people talk about it a lot, like it's been on my mind a lot recently. And I low-key think that's why Austin is thinking about Sugar in the way that he is, because they talk about Sugar that way on the podcast. But like, you know, it's indisputable how iconic it is. It's indisputable that it's incredibly entertaining. It's indisputable that it's got incredible gameplay. Like all of these things, it is objectively a very good season, regardless of whether or not it's my favorite.
Yeah.
And Treasure Island will forever be like a top 5 moment for me, like ever. So
yeah, I love it. Oh, iconic. Karly, any thoughts on Heroes vs. Villains?
If Austin did not have an idol nullifier, this would have been blocked.
Whoa!
So
that's why I was so excited to get the nullifier.
There you go. It's a good defense weapon. Yeah.
It's such a good. I so badly want a new era Heroes versus Villains. Like that would be freaking phenomenal. I really hope that's like something that's on their mind because like it's crazy that they had one Heroes versus Villains season and they never properly repeated it, considering it's one of the best seasons ever. It's just wild to me.
I think the backlash of not having Carolyn and Jesse on 50 will make people maybe start the pot on that. Either a second chances or a Heroes vs. Villains of like, you have arguably the biggest villain and the biggest hero of the new era. Why aren't you putting them?
We need a new era All-Stars real bad.
Yeah. Which like I guess you could say Q could be the biggest villain of the new era too, but and he got him on 50, but yeah, I don't know. I think we could definitely do a Heroes vs. Villains and it would be iconic. But Karly, you do have the next pick and you are not going to steal it from yourself. So
no, not.
What are you going to go with?
Okay, so I still need hero. I still need quote. I still need season. Okay. Okay, I don't know what to pick for seasons and quotes. So I think I'll just go with hero.
Ooh, first hero off the board.
And it's definitely an unconventional pick because it's just someone I'm in love with. I'm going to pick Kenzie from 46.
Oh, nice.
I am obsessed with her. I love her. I love how sweet she is, but also how she's kind of a bitch sometimes. She's like, I was just staring at her all throughout 46, like what she did with her hair, like she would put flowers in it. And like, I love her game. I love a good kind of under the radar social game. And I love how like her game was not perfect. I love how it was very messy. I love how Maria is the reason she won Survivor. Like that is insane. That's insane that Maria voted for her and then lied about why she voted for her and then continued her story. That like if nothing else, that is part of the reason I'm picking Kenzie, because it's just like I love winners where it's like, oh, you won because the jury was petty. Like I think that's
her last name too.
Yes, it is. That's one of the most fascinating things about Survivor to me. So I'm picking Kenzie. I love her. She's
petty. Petty wins because petty is.
I think she also deserved it.
Yes, that's it.
I love the Mermaid Dragon. I love the Mermaid Dragon. She's one of my top 2 favorite new era players, or probably. I love her. I knew you were going to pick her, and I was very, very happy. I didn't put her on the list. I didn't want to take her from you.
I think it was the first time since Millennials versus Gen X where I predicted the winner. I think. Because Karly, we both predicted Kenzie, right?
The same one. Yes, it was the first time I ever did that.
Matt, did you predict Kenzie too? Yeah,
I also predicted Kenzie.
Oh no, you had Tevin.
No, famously, I had Tevin.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot this is the same season. That's crazy too, because she also has to put up a Q too. Yeah, she's the ultimate.
As soon as Tevin was gone, she was my winner pick. After that, like she was my backup winner pick.
Maybe I didn't predict the winner of Millennials. I think Millennials versus Gen X. I actually picked Michaela because I knew she was going to be on Game Changers.
My queen.
Yeah, I think it's the first time since like. I don't know if I ever picked a winner pick other than Kenzie.
You picked D.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm sorry. You didn't. You picked Kelly and then was like, could see the writing on the wall with D. That was
preseason Kelly, because that's the thing. You make winner picks after the season starts and you're like, no, it's going to be this person. But yeah, Kenzie, I'm glad that like followed through because like she was fun to root for too because she was a little under the radar. So you were kind of like, is she going to win? Her edit's great, but like, she's not making any big moves, but I don't think you have to. And I like how she plays a very clean game. And she's on a losing tribe that kept losing. So there's a lot of like, sympathy you get for her too. So great pick. Ingrid, you were making heart hands too. Like, is this one you wanted as well?
So I wasn't necessarily going to pick her, but I am also in love with her. And she was a winner pick for me preseason. I believe I had her on our draft when we did one. Dylan, I'm not sure.
I think so. Yeah.
She is so beautiful. But also just like, I love that she was so kind to Ben and it was not strategic. Like did she benefit from it? Absolutely, strategically. But that wasn't why she did it. Like she did it from human to human. And that I think is part of what makes her heroic. She wasn't doing that like for strategic gain, even though it did give her strategic gain. Like she did it just to be a good person, just to be a good human. And I also really appreciate on the other side of that, watching somebody who wants to win because they want the money for themselves. Like, I loved that, like, in that moment when they're asking them, like, why are you here? What are you going to do with your money? She's like, dude, I've been working my ass off since I was 15. I'm using it to better myself and my family. Like, and
like, had a family, had a kid
is iconic. And she's pregnant with a second kid right now. Yeah, she apparently really wanted 2 kids under 2. I'm on her Instagram a lot. Okay. But and you know, the Carolina girl in me was also excited because she lives in North Carolina and you don't see that a lot on Survivor. So all of those things, Mermaid Dragon is my queen, and I love her so much.
Yeah,
it was not often a lot at the beginning of Survivor, and now I feel like there's more and more. And also Sandra, I don't know if Kedsy's originally from North Carolina, but Sandra only lived in North Carolina because her husband was stationed there. So
I also say, like, she didn't do it for the fame either because she doesn't want anything to do with the show anymore. Which is also
she's literally like, yeah, 2 of my best friends are on the show, and I'm not going to watch it.
Yeah, like
they don't.
Honestly,
they don't need me to watch it for them to know that I love them, and I'm like, all right, queen, whatever.
Yeah, we'd love to see her again.
She died and cut her hair so that she wouldn't get recognized.
Yeah, I felt bad about the way she was kind of terrorized by so many people trying to. I think it's great.
That's my thoughts. I love Kenzie too.
Yeah.
That's because Survivor fans, and I know that this means I'm not going to get votes, suck most of the time. There you go. And that's just true.
Yeah. You're. I was gonna make a joke, but I don't want to do it in case you actually do it. I was gonna say you're not gonna get votes because you're gonna pick Banu as your hero. I'm not. Sorry, no Banu slander here. No, we love him. We have several million reasons why. Karly, I know you had one more thought. Did you have another thought for Kenzie? I thought you were.
Yes. With her fire making was like so. I was stressing. I was pacing while she was making fire because
fire against
Liz, yeah. Which also, honestly, if Liz had made the final 3, that also would have been an iconic final 3. But like,
was gonna win.
I always picked the fire maker wrong. Every single time who I wanted to win fire lost. So when Kenzie won, I was just so happy. I was so excited. So that was.
Love the pick. Sorry, Matt, about the Banu slander. That was unnecessary.
Oh no, it was fun. No, it's fine.
It's fun. All right, Ingrid, go ahead. You can pick Banu now. What are you gonna pick for your next pick?
I'm gonna go back to quotes. This is actually the second quote on my list, not my first initial pick. Just because I want to kind of diversify my team a little bit. And my quote is represented a little bit, but I'm gonna pick one that is part of my everyday vernacular. In some ways, look at him. He's like, "What are you talking about?" I believe it's referenced in our home relatively often. And it's from a season that has been talked about a lot, but hasn't. I don't believe it's been chosen unless I'm forgetting. And that is, "Forget you, go home, goodbye."
That's on my list too. Yeah.
Had to pick something from the first season I watched, just like Dylan. And it's just incredible. I mean, she is screaming in the booth and everyone can hear her. And she doesn't care at all. And I love that so much. I know I just said that there's not a bunch of North Carolina people. She's also from North Carolina. Crystal is. So I guess that's just a running theme now.
I love it. I'm gonna look up more.
But so yeah, I love it so much. I love when, we don't get a lot of.
Is she from North Carolina?
No, she is. But when I Googled North Carolina Survivor players, the first thing that pops up is Candace from Raro Tribe.
Yeah, she's from North Carolina as well. Yep, because she went to Duke and UNC Cameroon.
Oh my gosh.
So but I promise it's not just going to be North Carolina all over my team.
We also talked about Jesse Lopez, who was also from North Carolina.
I'm telling you, it's a lot more people like later on. When I was first watching, I remember being like, nobody's from North Carolina. What the heck? And then they put a bunch of people on. But I digress. I feel like nowadays we don't get as many like Gabon is in an era of Survivor where like people really hated each other. and people really were not sad to see each other go, and really played it up on television, and it was so entertaining. And I feel like that's kind of a lost art form a little bit in New Era Survivor, as much as I love New Era Survivor. So I love that gets to be represented. It's often used in RHAP tier lists as like the worst part, like the bottom tier is called Forget to Go Home Goodbye. And I really enjoy it a lot. That's all I have to say.
It's iconic. Yeah.
So a lot of my hate of Randy is the way he talks down to her immediately. I'm sure you're only taking that part, but the whole quote is, "You made my life hell from day one.
Yeah.
Forget you, go home, goodbye." The way she yells, when I think about a tribal council and I think about someone holding up their thing, I think about her yelling that and then them cutting to where to show that everyone can hear it. It's such
Jeff
a
too.
great
Jeff
moment.
kind of looks over like,
yeah.
Somebody
it's such
took
a
her.
great moment, and it's something that I'm actually surprised has never been replicated. Like, I'm surprised that with the fans, like, we don't get a lot. It feels like every season we should get someone like yelling their vote.
Yeah. I think the only other time I can think of is when Penner goes, "Denise." You know?
Yeah.
And even then he like goes back like this and is like, "Denise."
Yeah. Crystal's just angry.
Yeah.
This is great.
Oh,
She does not care. She's not trying to be entertaining. That's what I think makes it more entertaining. Is that she's not trying to play a character. That's just who she is.
Yeah. Iconic. Yeah, really, really iconic. Karly, any thoughts on this one?
I have not seen Gabon, but I have seen many clips. I know I'll love Gabon. I love 46, so I'll love Gabon because I've heard this compared a lot.
46 is very Gabon coded. That is
they're both all about the drama. So I'm excited to get there. But yes, I of course I've seen this clip. I've seen it, and it's amazing. It's I just gosh, Gabon's so messy, and I cannot wait to experience it.
I'm so glad it's represented here too. Like smack dab in the middle of the draft board. Gabon. I love it. Austin, any thoughts on Forget You, Go Home, Goodbye?
No, it's a great pick. It was not when she was talking about like things that we say, or things that she says.
Well, we'll have to come back to that in honorable mentions at the end.
Yeah, this was not what I thought she was going with, but
I'm curious to see what I thought.
Yeah, no, her quote that she uses in the house is "I love you," Billy Garcia's quote from.
That's it a lot.
All right, let's wrap up this.
And I always respond with "We love you."
Let's wrap up this third round. Third round with yeah, because I already took mine, so you get to.
So I'm gonna.
I was like, how are we pick mine?
I'm gonna choose my season. I honestly I put 5 down. I love them all, so I'm not real worried about it, but I'm less worried about quotes because it's so deep and no one's gonna pick my hero. So I'm gonna go with my season, which is season 16, which is Micronesia.
Yep.
Which is represented here in both of my other picks. So it's I didn't mean for
your
that
other
to
pick
happen.
is your other pick is
Hero versus Villain. You're right. You're right.
But I picked the
Jason.
So it's well represented.
You did pick. Yes, that's right. That's what I was thinking of. Anyway, not the point. Micronesia is it's my favorite season. It's my number one. Nobody took my number one. My number 2 was Heroes versus Villains. I love that 1-2 punch of seasons. Like, those seasons are so good together. They don't go one after the other, right? Like, there's they're 16 and 20. Anyway, not the point. The point is those 2 seasons feel like siblings, and I just love both seasons so much. But my girl Staree is very well represented. It's just a really good season with a really great the final two, like the Amanda and Parvati. That's who the final is, right? I'm not crazy, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Either of them could win. I have gone on record saying that I think Amanda should have won Micronesia and Parvati should have won Heroes versus Villains. I would be happy with Parvati winning both of those. But I think Amanda played a really great game, and I love seeing her go to final back-to-back from playing an incredible game, even though she couldn't sell it. Basically she didn't manage her jury well enough. But it's just a really great season that I love.
Yeah, it's a top 5 season of mine, even though I think the pre-merge is not as good as the post-merge. The post-merge is the best post-merge ever. I think just the stretch of the blind sides of, Eliza with the stick, and then going into Ozzy and Jason, and then James's medevac, Alexis's blind side with Amanda playing the idol, into the Eric blindside, like that stretch, the least exciting boot in the post-merge stretch is Natalie at Final 4. And then you have the surprise Final 3. It is the best post-merge stretch of all time. I think it's iconic. The only thing is, I wish some players in the pre-merge got more time to shine, especially fair play. But that's just the nature of the game. They just went out early, and there's something we can do to help that. I think it's awesome pick. Awesome pick. And that's a season with 2 medevacs and a quit, 2 quits and 2 medevacs, and it's still an amazing season. That's how you know. Yeah. Ingrid?
You can understand why Survivor tried to replicate it, but also you can understand why they failed. There's something about the cast of the original Fans vs. Favorites Micronesia that really does it. Even they do a good job of capturing the fans being excited about being here with these people, as well as the favorites just dominating in a lot of ways, because the fans are just so poorly equipped. And the difference in their camps when the tribe swaps, and James is these people are gonna die. And all of those things are so well done in Micronesia in a way that clearly cannot be replicated. And so I really enjoy it. It was the last one that aired before I started watching, so it was one that I watched as an adult. And I think that I have a bigger appreciation for it because I watched it as an adult. And understood the nuances of everything and all of that. But yeah, so many iconic moments. We've been talking about it all night. It's a great pick.
Yeah. Austin?
Yeah, it's my number 2 season of all time.
Our top 2 are flip-flops.
Yeah. And the only thing that holds it back from topping Heroes Villains for me is the quit and the 2 medevacs and the surprise Final 2 as a result of all that. But
look what they did to my girl Sari.
It's incredible.
I have just to address that a little bit, and Dylan and I have talked about this privately extensively, that quits are part of the game. That's Outlast. That's part of the game, and so that doesn't bring it down for me at all. I feel that's just that is as much of the game as anything. So that didn't bother me, but I do understand that.
Yep. Karly, any thoughts on Micronesia?
The medevac happening to Penner, especially.
Yeah, because that sucks, especially because he could have been at the height of his power.
I will say a lot of the quotes on my list. I had quite a few Micronesia quotes on my list.
I thought you were going to say Penner. I have quite a few Penner quotes.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing about Penner.
Part of where they come from.
Penner is probably the player who I went the biggest 360 on because I hated him at first, and then by the time he's medevac, I'm sad. I'm no, I love him so much.
Watching him cry on the boat is too much for me. Yeah. I gotta look away. I'm so upset.
Yeah. Karly, thoughts on Micronesia?
No, and I'm not stealing this one. I thought about it for a second, but
I forgot you first.
There's still an idol in play.
Everyone, we will let Karly go first now every time, just because she now has not a lot of time left to pick. But she still hasn't gotten her season. And Ingrid hasn't picked a season either, so this could get interesting.
Well, I could block something that I've already picked if I really wanted to.
What?
Oh, I see what you mean.
I just can't pick it, but I could if I just wanted to not go home with an idol.
She wanted to be mean. She could do it.
True, she could just flush an idol. That'd be evil. Hey, now I'm nervous. Now all of us are scared. You're right. I did not say you had the idol pick that you would take. But I'm gonna go with because I'm up first for this round. My hero, I don't think anyone's gonna pick, but everyone's picked their villain, so I might as well pick my hero because why not? And it's someone who I think is a hero 100%, but it's not the hero you think about. He wasn't on Heroes vs. Villains. but he's just the one that, like, when I think about who I rooted for, a good guy that I rooted for from beginning to end, wins the game, comes back on Winners of War. I'm still rooting for him because he's more of an underdog, still ends up being the biggest character of the season that isn't like Mount Rushmore. It's Adam Klein. I really love Adam Klein. Was that going to be your pick?
Man.
No,
but I just love him. I just love him
for some reason. Yeah, like of all like those because here's the thing: a lot of heroes I was thinking about, like I thought about Penner, but I'm like he's not a hero, but he's also not a villain. But like he's just in that gray area where I'm not considering him like one of the great heroes of the game. There's a lot of players like that. Suri is kind of on the cusp, or more villainous than heroic. Like I think Adam is fully hero. Like even his devious moves, they're all well intentioned, and it's almost sad. Like Taylor and the food, like. I think he genuinely feels bad about it, but like it's not all his fault, and I think, the relationship with Jay is so amazing. Just the stuff about his mom is so heartbreaking, but really makes him such an endearing hero to where a lot of people will say Hannah should have won that game. And I get it, but I just think Adam and David too. David could have won that game as well if he made it there. But I do think Adam, just the fact that he gets to the end, has a unanimous vote. It isn't even his mom that gets him that vote, but he still has the mom story. And it's not a sob story because again, he's not winning the game because of his mom. Everyone was going to vote for him regardless. It's just Hannah, by the edit, America can see why she played a better game than the jury saw. But I still would have voted for Adam. I still think he played the best game of the season, even probably more so than David, because David and Adam both struggle early on. But I just think Adam, for some reason, I just always was more impressed by his game. But really, Winners at War, just the fact that he can go in there and just be like kind of the endearing little guy who, he's picking off the fleur-de-lis off the podium. And, he gets a one-up on Wendell, who is the villain I was talking about earlier of Winners of War, if there was a villain of Winners of War. And just him getting out Boston Rob too, like he's living the Survivor dream, and I think that's why I've always connected with him as a hero, is because he's doing what all the super fans watching want to see. Because there are other super fans that have won, but they fit into such archetypes where it's like, they aren't as relatable to me. But Adam is relatable because he really doesn't have an archetype. He's just the young, wide-eyed golden boy, and but not the golden boy in the Joe way either, where he's like a shoo-in to win any season he plays. He's scrappy, and I think there's something really admirable about that. So Adam's always been one of my favorite players of the game, top 10 favorite characters at least, or just people to root for. And I think it just of everyone I had on my list, he's the one that I'm like, not the least amount of question of he's a hero, and also just like of all these players, I like him the most, so I'm picking him. He might not be the easy number one choice, but neither I think would be Kenzie for most people's minds, but it's personal to Karly, and I wanted to pick one that's personal to me too, because heroes are also people that we respectfully root for, respectively. So I think Adam's going to be my pick here, and I'm really happy about it. And Karly can't take it. She's already had it. Or she could idle me just to be petty, but
I won't.
David had the best story that season, but Adam deserved the win. Like that season, in my opinion.
See, I prefer Adam's story even more, but I get what you say. Like David had the biggest arc, I would say, like change in terms of like overall, just like maybe quantity of story. Yeah, like he has the main story, I would say. Yeah, the main character story. Yeah.
Just in terms of character development, like Adam had a great story, but like it's just David had going from being afraid of everything and not able to do anything to what it's just a great story. Anyway, not the point that I was making at all. The point was that Adam deserved that season. I only mentioned David because you had mentioned him in your thing. But, Adam is one of the few, and I had mentioned being excited about a winner. It was one of the few moments where I was just like excited, like cheering, like he won. Like I just very, very excited. I think that he absolutely deserved to win that season, and it's a great pick. He's on my list, and just a great season.
Cool.
Great pick.
Karly, you're not gonna take your
no, I won't take it. Right? Was he the one who tried to play the podium?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I was gonna mention that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
That's beautiful.
Yeah,
that's a genius move. Like if it had worked.
It's very good. I need Jeff to make that a thing one of these days.
I'm still shocked they haven't hidden an idol at Tribal Council. It seems like the most obvious thing to do that they still haven't done.
That's why when we did the Survivor Trivia nights, the hidden immunity idol was at Tribal. Is because it was on the podium because it should have worked. They should have called an audible.
Ingrid, Austin, any thoughts on Adam?
I'll let Ingrid talk because
I love Adam so much.
Aww,
I think the podium thing is exactly kind of what Maddie was saying earlier about like there's such a thin line between a great move and a stupid move, because if that had worked, that would have been brilliant. And you could even see it like on the other players' faces. They were like, "Oh my god, is he doing something here?" And then they all laugh at him when it's not. But I'm like, dude, what if it was though?
And I love how Jeff feeds into it. He's like, "Are you sure it's not?" It's so good.
I was like, now I love Adam so much. I always have. I always will. I think that he is a good hero in the definition that you're giving of like somebody you want to root for, somebody that you want to succeed, somebody who's like not being malicious, all of those things. And I think he's very well rounded. I am one of those people that wants Hannah to win, but that doesn't mean that I discredit Adam at all. I think that he played the best game because he won, and that's just part of my philosophy. But like he absolutely deserved it. And I'm glad that it kind of put that end cap to his story in that season. As such a big fan of the show, as somebody who was playing for his mom, like how tragic it is that she is not there on the day that he gets his check, like, and all of those things, but like he's still able to tell her story and their story and how his family
and tell her that he won too.
Yes.
He told her before she
died. And for her to be able to hold on for that moment, like, and all of those things, like it's a beautiful story. It's a beautiful thing. And so I am absolutely in favor of your pick. It's wonderful. Yeah.
Yay. Austin.
Yeah.
Good pick. Thank you. Yeah, cool. So last 2 rounds, Matt, take us away with your penultimate pick. You have your quote left and you have your hero left.
I'm gonna go with my quote. Because I think my hero's safe, and if not, I've got a good list. And no one was ever gonna take this because it feels special to me, but it's my favorite quote. It's my favorite thing that anybody's ever said on Survivor. And it's unfortunate that I did not realize I was going to build out my my draft board this way, because it is for Micronesia. It's a fucking stick.
That was like three on my list, man. That was a good pick.
Okay. There we are. It's just such a good moment. It makes me laugh every time. It never fails to make me laugh. It's a good moment, and she's so desperate at that moment, and the saddest. And I like her, but just that devastation, realizing what's happening. I don't understand. Why would you just hand me a stick? Is like, but it's got a face on it. It's so good. But yeah, it's a fucking stick.
Love it. It also feeds into the theme of the season too, of like fans and favorites. Like the fan is bringing the favorite, the stick, and the favorite's like, come on, really? Like this is your first rodeo, clearly. Which I also love. It shows Jason as like this lovable goofball idiot. Great moment. Iconic. Yeah. Thoughts on It's a Fucking Stick, Ingrid?
Sorry. I love it. It was on my list.
Thanks.
It was like kind of towards the end of my list, so I probably wasn't going to pick it, but I think it's a great pick. Super iconic. Reminds me a little bit about what it's like to talk to my students a lot of the time. It's so funny because she's like, it's just a stick, and he's like, I know. That's not the idol. Why not? Like, it's just so funny because he's like, it's like he's aware, but he's not at the same time, and that's like so funny. And I like that it sets up the tribal that comes after. And even though Eliza does end up going home, she's like, well, at least we can prove that Ozzy has the idol, because if you don't have it, he must, because he's been to exile too. And like this kind of, so like, I like that it does serve narrative impact, while also being hilarious and iconic. So
you're right.
Yeah.
You bring up the lead up is part of it as well. It's just like this is a stick.
So
this can't be the idol. Why not? Because it's a fucking stick.
And he's also like, no, again. He's like, yeah, I know. It's based on it.
And then that also leads to when she goes home and she tries to play it, and then Jeff throws it in the fire, and Ozzy's like, "I spent a long time on that."
Yeah,
that
season is so good.
That took hours to make.
That took hours to make. There we are.
I love it. Karly, Austin, the fucking stick. Any last thoughts on it?
It was on my list. It's beautiful. It was pretty high on my list, but
nice. If we were to do this again,
I stole it from Matt, he'd be sad. So I was like, I can't do that. We're in an alliance.
If we were to do another Survivor draft and like the new categories, I think one of them should be like immunity idols, just in terms of just like individual immunity idols, like because I think there are some really cool ones.
We could do an entire draft on Survivor quotes of like you could do like a category on like tribal like jury speeches. You could do a category on voting confessionals. You could do a category on Jeff quotes.
Let's make this a thing. Every year we'll do a Survivor draft before the even numbered Survivor season, and we'll do 5 brand new categories every time. So next time we'll do final tribal speeches. We'll do idols. We'll do all that. Cool. Nice. All right, Ingrid, what's gonna be your next pick? You have a hero left, and you have a season left.
Okay, I'm gonna do my season because it wasn't coming up a lot at first, and then it started coming up a lot, and I got nervous. My favorite season of Survivor is Millennials versus Gen X.
Nice.
So I'm gonna take it because it's special to me. It's very, it's not monumental in any like specific way, I guess, like in terms of like when I watched it or anything like that. But like, I guess what makes it so monumental to me is Hannah Shapiro. I mean, like, and again, I love Adam. I love David. I love like there's so many awesome stories on the show. The ways that they connect. It's a great like newbie season. It's the first time we're in Fiji, so the scenery is fresh, like and exciting and beautiful. But well, I guess not the first time, but the first time in the Fiji era of Survivor. Mm-hmm. And like Hannah is just a very important figure for me, just in Survivor and in my like. Growing up, like she was super important to me because like I looked like her and she was like weird and she had anxiety and she had a panic attack on camera, and like people don't talk about that anymore. Like people talk about how like Eva had her self-described autistic episode, but like there were things that happened before that people don't talk about in regards to like mental illness. And like what like as a very, very anxious teenager when that season aired, like watching that happen and her overcome it and Jeff be like, you still came out here and you did it and like push forward and like become this like strategic powerhouse in a lot of ways. Like she is the reason that 90% of those jurors go home. Like she is the one making the decisions as to when they're going to go, all that kind of stuff. Like there are so many times where Adam wants it to go one way and she's like, nope, this is going to happen instead. And that's what happens. And she actually, I was watching it relatively recently and she has a quote when, oh my gosh, who went home? Might've been Sunday.
Yep. It was Sunday. I know what you're talking about.
And she says, the types of people who can make a decision and get other people to go along with their decision are the types of people who win Survivor. And while that did not pan out for her because the jury didn't take her seriously and they didn't understand, like, and I do think that she has a pretty not great final tribal in defending it. Like, that was so inspiring to me as a teenager, as a young adult. When I like really started to become obsessed with Survivor in college, I like DM'd her on Instagram and she did respond and she was really sweet. Cool. And that was really awesome. So like, I have a lot of connection to her, but also connection to the season as a whole. I'm obsessed with Michaela Bradshaw. I love her. She's the best.
Her blindside's epic.
Queen. Like I love her. I love the season. There's so many great characters. Like even some of the early things are incredible. Like you said, like Michaela's gone before the merge. And like, that's devastating, but also like amazing that she's there for that whole pre-merge and you see all those things. So yeah, I love it so much. It'll always be my favorite. So yeah.
Yeah. And again, great theming. I'm going to go to Karly first only because she does have the idol and she hasn't picked her season. Karly,
sad. No, I won't.
I will not be playing it.
She has until the end of
remix,
the
I just don't remember that season that well. That's when I'm excited to go back and revisit, because it's when I watched when I was more casual, so I didn't pay as much attention. But and also I'd feel like a monster taking it after your
I legally would have had to nullify it too.
Yes. Well, yeah, and yeah, I love the personal picks, and that's why I liked Adam so much, and I love that it's the top 2 of that season. That means so much to both of us as like people we connect with most. Like Adam, I connect with more than anyone else on the show. You connect with Hannah more than anyone else on the show. Like I think that's awesome.
And they're little besties, and I love them. So you know.
Woo.
Okay, so I was born in the early 80s. I am technically a millennial, but I was raised like I was Gen X.
Like Ken.
Right. Yeah, like I'm on the cusp. And going into the season, I was actually nervous. I was like, oh God, they're going to what are the Gen X people gonna they're just gonna talk a lot of shit about millennials. And to be fair, I apologize to you guys. Most of the shit that they were blaming on us was you guys. Was from your generation. But and that happens today. People are blaming Alpha for whatever.
Right. It's a never ending cycle.
Gen Z, you guys were it's the same. It happens forever. So I was nervous going in. I was like, oh God, is this gonna just be awful, just having to hear people talk about how my generation doesn't believe in work and stuff like that? There's a little bit of that, but not a lot. Like not enough to upset me. And I, as I'm watching that season, I'm liking it a lot more. The fact that it's not on my list is actually, now that I've heard you talk about it, I'm like, gosh, it should have been on my list. Because there are, and for a lot of the same reasons you have, I actually just went back and searched conversation between me and Dylan, just because I know that I had talked about that. And I have a, Karly and Dylan know this. I have a chronic anxiety issue. Like,
same.
Takes me out. Like, it's awful. It debilitating. So I said to Dylan when I was watching this, February 1st, 2024, I said, Hannah, who I really like, just had a panic attack. And it's the most relatable thing I've seen on this show. David and Hannah's anxieties make me feel seen.
Yep.
And
it changed my life completely.
Yeah. And so like, as I'm watching this, I'm like, oh my, like that panic attack for real, like visceral. It's like at the end of Inside Out 2, when she's having the panic attack, it's the most realistic depiction of panic attack I've ever seen in film. And I'm like, when I was in the theater, I was like, head in my hands, like bawling, like just I felt that so much. It's the same thing as I'm watching that happen. I feel it. Like I'm like, I know. Oh, baby girl, please, like come over here. Like I'll give you a hug. It was that same thing. So yes, for all those reasons, I love Adam Klein. I love Hannah. I love those people. I love David. Like that is why that season for me works so well, is those vulnerable people. And how they overcome those things and keep going. Like it's so good.
Yeah. Austin, thoughts on Millennials versus Gen X?
No, it's just great. I'm just gonna highlight a scene that I don't feel like it's been talked about yet that I really love, and it's the Adam and Jay on the hammock scene.
I was gonna say I haven't talked about Jay, and that was rude to me.
That's also just like, in addition to everything that's already been said about how great it is, like that scene in particular too. I remember being like, that's one of the few Survivor moments where I remember watching it and also crying.
Yeah, that was emotional. Yeah. And we're not even talking about gameplay. We're only talking about human characters.
And the gameplay is ridiculous.
We get a rock draw. We get Michaela's blindside. We get the Paul and Lucy blindsides. I mean, like everything. Rachel, or not Rachel. Yeah, Rachel's first move, but Mari going home second.
Mari,
like, and then the Zeke
and
Adam being on the bottom.
Yeah,
Zeke's
the only thing I'll push back on something Ingrid said is that I actually think there was nothing better Hannah could have done in that final tribal. Like, I remember watching it in real time, going in tribal, like, Adam's going to win. Adam probably should win to whatever extent. But then I remember watching that final tribal and being like, damn, Hannah just wiped the floor at that final tribal council in terms of if we're just talking gameplay. Like Hannah, I thought dominated that final tribal, and I was shocked that she didn't get at least a vote. Like I still was like, Adam's still gonna win, but like that's one of the only things that knocks it down for me is Hannah not getting a vote.
Yeah. No, and the selfish part of me agrees. I just feel like if I ever were on Survivor, I truly would be as close to Hannah as possible.
Yeah.
From the panic attack to the not being taken seriously at the end and everything in between. I think that is very much a trajectory that I would go on as well. I see so much of myself in her.
Yeah, I think David. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say to the fact that you don't look unlike Hannah. Also,
I know. That was the other thing. It's like this nerdy girl with the curly hair and the glasses that's having a panic attack. Well, I just had a panic attack in the hallway at school yesterday. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, I will say I think David, if he makes it to the end, wins no matter what. But I think David probably beats Hannah in the same way Adam beats Hannah. But what happens if it's David and Adam still not pulls the mom card, obviously, but like if he talks about it, like, do you think David wins unanimously, or do you think it's tighter?
I don't think it's unanimous. I think Jay votes for Adam
no matter what.
Jay for sure.
Yeah, I think Adam's always getting Jay's vote.
I think it's probably closer though. Like I really want to see what happens if it's David.
Also, is it Hannah or Ken on the jury? Because Ken, Hannah, I think could vote for Adam, but Ken will vote for David.
Right. Yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah.
Karly, do you have any more?
I think that a lot of the like Ken didn't get a lot of votes there because of the fact that he took out David and he was so loyal. But I think that the millennials would have the opposite impact with Adam. I would think they would say, why is David sitting here? Why didn't you get him out sooner? So it is an interesting conversation to have, though.
Yeah, I also do wonder if Ken can get any votes if he doesn't betray David. Probably not, but like I think one of the biggest things
Jess would have taken
is like you preach this loyalty game and you cut Dave. Like I wonder if he can get like one vote just for saying like I said loyal and I meant loyal.
Yeah, but last thing about the season, like what I love too is that like everyone in that final six could win. Like really, like going into the final six, like
Jeff literally could have
won, Jay could have won, Adam, David, Hannah, Ken, like all of them could have. Karly, do you have any more thoughts on the season? I know you said you weren't gonna.
No, but I am excited to rewatch it and rediscover.
One more thing.
Yes,
I promise. Rest in peace, Sunday. We love you, incredible queen. Miss you. So sad that she
very, very sad
away the way she did.
Mm-hmm.
And the way her cast rallied around her.
Mm-hmm. Yes, very, very lovely cast dynamic too. Yes, nowadays too. All right, Karly, what are you gonna pick now? I don't know. You have a quote. You have a season.
To pick my season. We just went from talking about a great season with great characters, so let's talk about David versus Goliath.
Nice.
I was like I knew that this was a pretty good season. I remembered liking it, but on rewatch, I was shocked at like just how good it is. Like the amount of nights I stayed up late because I was like, I can't turn this off. I need to keep watching. I need to see what happens next. Like it just has so many great characters. Like that. Like there are some complaints about 50 casting, but I haven't seen any complaints about the people they picked for David versus Goliath because it's like
you haven't met my
characters. Perfect characters to throw on there. They're like a mix of good game players to entertaining, and it's just so much fun. That season is just so good and so gripping. I think the only complaint about it is I don't love the winner, but I do love that a David wins. Like I think that is pretty cool. And I'll let everyone talk more about it because it's an amazing season.
I'm glad you picked it, and I'll just say of the ones we've picked, all 5 of these seasons are in my top 6. David vs. Goliath is my 6 only because of the winner, but of my top 6, all like Millennials vs. Gen X is there, number 5. My number 4 was not picked, and then China, Micronesia, Heroes vs. Villains is top 3. So like I'm happy. This is very, very exciting for me. So
I love this season. As someone who's a fan of Mike White before he was on Survivor, I know he's very popular right now. I was very excited to finally see him on the show. But he ended up not being the highlight for me. But the highlight was Christian. And there are 3 people that I will accept winning 50, and he is one of them. I'm excited to see him come back, and I hope that he can pull it off. But yeah, it's a great season.
Yeah, Christian
it's on my list also.
Yeah, his top 3. Yeah, you got Christian, Suri, and Q. All right, Karly.
You got 2 of those.
Karly, did you want to title your own pick? I'm kidding.
Yeah, I'm used to going to Karly first, and now I'm like Karly, and you just picked it. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to give any specifics that haven't been said. I mean, we talked about the dynamic with the John Hennigan blindside. It's just so good. There's a moment too that I love that might get picked in quotes. I'm not going to talk about it now. I'll talk about it in honorable mentions. But oh boy, it's chilly in here. Austin, thoughts on this?
Yeah, no. The only thing, the only thing that it's my 8th overall favorite season. If we're looking at my like rankings, it's funny. We picked. I picked my number 1, Matt picked my number 2, and then the 3 you guys picked are literally my 8, 9, and 10.
Nice.
So I have like a little like gap in between them. I will say for the purpose of this draft, though, I know that like some of my favorite seasons aren't like what people will vote for in a poll. So David vs. Goliath was probably like my like 3rd or 4th pick for this. And I think the only thing for me that holds it back is some of the pre-merge. I think like the Jessica boot and the B quit are both kind of just like bleh. But other than just those couple of things, it's a super solid season, and I think the post merge is one of the best post merges of Survivor.
Period. Ingrid, thoughts on DVG?
Yeah, I love this season. It was one of those that like when it was airing, I was like, this is an incredible season. And like, I'm not hard to please. So like, even when like things like Redemption Island were being like played when I was a kid, I was like, this is fun. It's Survivor. I like it. And then like, now I know better. But like,
I like Redemption Island a lot.
But like this was a season that like, as I was watching it, for me, it wasn't just like, oh, I like this because it's Survivor. It was like, oh, this is objectively like a very good season that's very entertaining and has a lot going for it. And like Karly said, I love that a David won. It's not the David I wanted to win, but like I'll take it.
Wasn't even the top 10 Davids I wanted to win.
True. Especially like post show.
Oh, yeah.
I was say post show, yeah. I think at the time he was a lot more rootable than
yeah.
Now.
No, and I liked him at the time, but like obviously post show and everything, like with all of that, it has my favorite archetype, which is the nerdy girl with the curly brown hair like me, and my queen Gabby. But there's so many fun little moments, fun little quotes. I'm scared to say a quote and like tip it. Yeah. But like there's so many fun moments. I'm thinking particularly about an exchange in the sand, perhaps.
That too. Yeah.
And like that was just such a fun little moment. I think the pre-merge is mostly very exciting as well, especially post-swap is really fun. I love the conversation that Christian has regarding Slamtown and the politics there and things like that. And all these just like little things. There's so many little things on top of the fact that there's incredible gameplay and these fun characters. There's so many like little nuggets where like if you're watching it on a rewatch, you're like, man, I really do love this season. That like silly little thing just happened that like made my heart happy and things like that.
Literally the worst thing about this season is the winner. Like
and it's a satisfying story until we find out.
Yeah, it's still a satisfying story. They told a good story
true.
with it, which is good.
Here's the thing. If Pat does not get medevac, Nick is your first boot. So that's also kind of like cool about the season is that he was going to be the first boot and then survived it.
He overcame it.
But then, like,
is there confirmation on that? I've also read places
that was not true.
Still the first boot. I've read places that it's still Pat no matter what.
Maybe. You think they would have voted him out?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like I've read that. I feel like in some exit interviews on that season there was another contingent that was eyeing Pat already just for like kind of some bossiness, like tribe dynamic things.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, so we are now headed into our final round, but we got to make the final pick here in round 4. Austin, what are you going to pick as your penultimate pick? Either way, you're getting your hero and your
yes.
What are you getting? Your tribal anyway, but it's just what order you want to make it. And just a reminder, everyone, we do have about 20 minutes. So.
Oh shoot, yeah. Okay, my hero and my tribal. I'll go tribal first. Okay. I am picking a tribal that for me I have used to try to introduce Survivor to a lot of younger people. Little quick side quest for like 30 seconds. I have done a couple of like workshops, like theater workshops, because when I was in college, I had to write a thesis paper, had to relate to theater in some way, and I was like, I'm going to find a way to make it relate to Survivor.
Cool.
And we had to do like a presentation after our paper, yada yada. But part of like my presentation about Survivor, I showed this tribal council. I even took this like thesis I wrote to different like Maryland Thespian Festival workshops,
Nice.
and did this as like a little workshop. And I showed this tribal, and I had so many kids come up to me and be like, "Whoa, that show like still on? Like what? Like that was really cool." Like high school age kids who had never seen Survivor before, and I showed them this tribal, and it like hooked them. And that is the merged tribal of Survivor Cagayan, where Sarah gets blindsided.
Yes, that's a great one.
There's just so much with it. It's so fun. The pre-vote, everything is really fun, and then like you get into the real like meat of it where so the pre-vote where like Tony's like, this is a community idol, I can play it on anybody. And then when he gets up and he like surveys them and he's like, I'm gonna play it on LJ. And then you have that moment, like that silence. And then LJ's like, you know what? I'll do this too. All for it to just result in Jeffra being the one that they get votes on. And you're like, oh, all that for nothing until the last vote. And then it's just like
chaos cast,
holy
baby.
Crap. So yeah, that's my tribal council. It's great.
That's amazing. And it's also great because it's like that's Sarah who would then become a legend. It's kind of like the Wentworth and Parvati thing of like the first season they're not like the biggest character, but then when you look back now knowing who Sarah is
the person in Game Changers that you're like, Sarah?
Yeah, and then she wins it, and then it's like Tony and Sarah is such an iconic pair now that you go back and see that Tony was her ending. Such a good tribal. I didn't even write it down. I forgot about it just because I think I had so many other ones. I don't know why I didn't write it down, but it's a genius pick. I mean, great tribal council, and like topped off with Spencer's one line of cast 0% of
0%.
Yeah.
And I was such a Spencer fan at that time too. Like, but I love Chaos Cast. I need to go rewatch Cagayan because I remember how much I loved it, and I don't remember. I remember this happening. I don't remember it well enough to really talk about it. It's Sarah joins the many people who you liked during it, but kind of suck now. Unfortunately. But yeah, I was happy to see her go. That's a good.
Yeah, that's the thing. And at that point, you're rooting so much for Tony's little. You're rooting for them to get one over, and then it's just so sweet that it's Sarah who is so on her high horse. She thinks she's the president of the game. Like,
that's good.
But I don't have much to say. It's just I need to rewatch Cagayan after all this discussion.
Yeah, Ingrid, Karly, any thoughts on that? Karly, you haven't. Oh yeah, you already picked your tribal, so but you could still play your idol. Petty. Okay. Thoughts on this one though, Karly? Anything?
No, because I need to rewatch Cagayan, but it sounds great.
Ingrid?
I have exactly one thing to say, and it has to do with the Spencer quote at the end. We have a friend that we introduced to Survivor a couple years ago, who like came over and started watching 44 with us, and then like got hooked, and over the summer and stuff like came and watched a bunch of seasons with us, and one of them was Cagayan. And since then, anytime something happens that he doesn't like or that he thinks was a bad move, he'll go, so-and-so, 0% chance of winning the game. And we're like, you'll have to find out. So that tribal council is a big part of our family lore at this point in time.
I love that. I wish it was 42, so he could have said that about Gabler and then been wrong. But yeah. Cool. All right, we're in our final round. Right. We don't have a ton of time, so we can kind of like speed round this almost. But yeah, if we have any pressing thoughts, and Karly, you still have that idol. So here we go.
Which Karly, I will say, if you end up idling this, I won't nullify it, and I will pick a different person.
Yeah. What is the hero?
This is the hero that I'm like locked in on. Which like I am perfectly fine keeping this person too, because I do think like they epitomize a hero in Survivor. There's just now a second person that when I'm looking at my long list, I'm like, I like if it was in this moment, I would go to them. But the one I'm locked into because of telling Maddie Fresh about it is Joe Hunter from Survivor 48. I think that man does not have a villainous bone in his body. The moment Eva tells him about what she's going to have to struggle with, he has laid down his life for her in that moment, and he carries it through the entire season. And you could argue that like flipping on Shaheen or flipping on David isn't like heroic in him, but like he's kind of just fooled at that point. Like it's not that he's being a villain. He thinks he's still in this honor moment because Kyle and Camilla just pull one over on him in both of those moments, truly.
Yeah.
But he just truly does like epitomize like what a hero is, of like, I am going to put the good of what other people need ahead of myself. Yeah. And that's going to serve him so well on 50. Even if I don't want him to win 50, it's going to do wonders for that man.
Yeah. It's like how Ingrid said, like a lot of the villains are fun, but then there's some who are just mean. I feel like some heroes are just like heroic, and then there's like just good. And I think he's just like a good guy. He's
just good.
Really good. Yeah. Didn't even think of him on my list.
Plus
honestly.
the whole like
I hate that
the whole
season,
story with his sister and everything too, like really adds into that.
Justice for her.
Yeah. Last thing I'll say, just I imagine just Matt's reaction when Austin wrote Joe and Matt having the split second of thinking it was Joe Anglem. No, I'm kidding.
No, I wrote out Joe Hunter.
Okay, I was about to say he probably just heard Joe and went, "Whoa." No, I'm kidding.
Karly, I did have that moment where I was like, "Oh no."
Yeah, Karly, are you gonna use your idol on this one? I know that's such a special moment.
You can.
I think it's a good pick. I might have to go home with my idol in my pocket. We'll see. But yeah, I'm actually kind of excited to see him play on 50. I know some people are down on that casting, but I'm really curious to see what he will do a second time around.
Yeah.
I hope he switches it up. Yeah.
It's true to see if he'll play more selfishly or not.
Yeah,
I doubt it. I hated basically every guy on that season, except Joe and Kyle, who was my winner pick, and one that was my last winner pick. Yes. But I apparently Dylan hates that season. I don't feel like that was the case when we were watching it together. But
no, I love the pre-merge, and then like post-merge just tanked it for me. But I feel like I didn't talk with anyone about the post-merge because I was in Toronto at that point. But I didn't even watch the finale.
Did he not talk because of this, Karly? I don't remember.
Dylan was
anyway. Not the point. Not the point that I'm making.
Yeah, I fell off right when I moved away, probably. So that's probably.
I hated basically every guy on that season except for those two. And had Joe not had that relationship with Eva, I would have also hated him because macho thing does not
that's
do
the thing.
it.
I also usually always hate those people too.
So like I luckily they had that. I know all of you, if you're a Survivor fan out there, you all hate Eva and Joe for some reason. But
they hate love and care.
Yeah.
And
sorry. But yeah, I love that relationship. So I think it's a good pick.
Yeah, very cool pick, and also new era representation. But I think it's important because I think Jeff would consider Joe the biggest hero of the new era.
Yeah. Well, now that we're talking about beautiful relationships,
yes,
I'm ready to give my quote, which is just Candace from Railroad Tribe. That's my quote.
Yes. Oh, I love that.
When you said relationship, I
have not even seen the season, but I have seen the scene, and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
When you said relationship, I thought she was about to pull out Boston Rob's proposal to Amber.
So did I.
I thought it was going to be Rob Sesternino saying Boston Rob and Amber are going to do it.
Yeah, I thought it was a relationship between Natalie and Angelina. I was going somewhere else. Either way, great. We just rattled off a bunch of honorable mentions, but we've all picked quotes. But iconic quote. We've said it on this podcast plenty of times already. Candace from Railroad Tribe. Any elaboration, Karly, or
no? It says it all. They're deep love.
It does.
The incredulousness that Jeff asked, like the complete disregard for any of Billy's feelings.
Yeah,
this is why someone could have drafted him, Jeff, as the villain. Like,
oh yeah,
I'm gonna slightly
Matt, I still got my villain pick.
I'm gonna slightly steal Ingrid's thunder on this and say that moment is Ingrid's dad's favorite moment on Survivor.
I was gonna say it.
I love that.
It is. And he's a very casual viewer in comparison to my mom. He just he's in the other room listening.
And it's the fact that he said this so quietly that they subtitle the "I love you" and like just to make you like they want you to see it.
And
the
the misunderstanding of it too.
I think that's why I don't love Cook Islands, is because I think the season falls off after that episode a little bit. Like I think that episode peaks so high.
That's like episode 2 or 3.
Yeah,
it's like
real
1
early.
and 2. Yeah, exactly. All right, Ingrid, final pick. What's it gonna be? Who's your hero?
Okay, real quick, because everybody said a quote, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just real quick want to say my honorable mention that I almost picked for my quote, and then I will say my hero. I won't elaborate. But I did not choose it because of my other representation, which is I can get loud too. What the fuck? Thank you. That's all.
Love it.
And I'll just say when she was saying she says it a lot, I thought she was going to go with I don't know about that.
I do say that all the time. I don't know about that. But my hero is some more new era representation. It's somebody that I clocked from the beginning. They were my winner pick. I was so glad that they won. This person never fails to put a smile on my face. It's Marianne Oketch.
Yes,
Hey.
my favorite. Sorry,
I love
my
her
favorite
so
New Era
much.
person.
So much. She's arguably my favorite new era character as well. It's like kind of a tie between her and like one other person. And she's just such a great human being. We had the opportunity to meet her at an RHAP event, and she's just as wonderful in person. Just lovely human being all around. Love her journey. Even when she does pull one over on Omer, she's like, I did it. I'm sorry. And I'm like,
you can't be mad. Yeah, he's happy.
you can't. Look at her giant smile. I'm obsessed with her. So yeah, I love her so much.
Talk about a killer final tribal performance too.
Oh my God. I stood up and clapped, truly. Like, I loved it so much.
Ingrid and Matt either really agree on something or really disagree on something.
I've
learned that.
Honestly, I think Ingrid and I are best friends.
I love it. We're gonna be real Facebook friends after this.
I love her. She's the embodiment. Like she's like the last quote speaks for itself. I think she speaks for herself as a hero.
Yeah,
like no doubt about
She's
it.
joy. She is
not
joy.
a bad bone in her body. Yeah, excellent pick. Excellent pick. Karly, any thoughts on Marianne?
I love her. She's fantastic. and like I watched the one rap interview she had that was like 2-3 hours long, and like it just showed me how much she understood the game. Like she like thought about literally everything, and I was just very impressed by that.
Yeah. The only thing she didn't get to do that America Lopez got to do was date a Wartenberger, sadly. But
it's okay. She's married now. So.
She is. Awesome.
Yeah. I was gonna say, Karly, if you want to be a villain at the end of this draft and idle either of the next 2 picks, I won't nullify it. Just so you can have that moment. If you really want to ruin Dylan or Maddie's day.
Well, Matt, I am going to turn it over to you. Matt, you can talk about Marianne anymore, or just go right into your next pick. I'll let you.
I love that pick because I just love her so much. She was my favorite from the beginning of that season, and I thought for sure there was no way she was going to win. And then she did. She also has that great moment where she looks over at the other side of the jury and says, I'm going to play my idol even though I don't need it because I'm not going to have another black person on the other side. Such a beautiful moment. I love it.
And then the other idol that she didn't have to play because Mike played one.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. All right, Matt. Final pick, your hero.
Okay, my hero. I mentioned it earlier that there was the first time I like fell in love with a character like on the show was in Pearl Islands. He's still my favorite character. He's still my favorite Survivor player, even though I think there are better Survivor players. He's still my favorite of all time, and that is Rupert. And the moment I fell in love with him was when they were in that little village, and he sees the shoes. So and he steals the shoes.
This is the moment that you're using for a hero?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing.
He's ever done, Austin.
Because it's a pirate season and he steals it, and that's what pirates do. And he has that great moment, but then he spends the rest of the season pretty much being the only competent person on that island. And unfortunately, that is the reason he doesn't win. Like they're like, we have to get rid of him because if not, he's going to win this. Like that sucks. But then he comes back. And what I love about him is that I've heard the argument that he doesn't really change or evolve. I disagree. I think he was a pirate on his first season. On All Stars, he was an all-star. That was what you're supposed to be. on Heroes versus Villains, he was a hero, and every time he was in an interview or in a confessional, he was like, "This is what heroes do." And then on Blood versus Water, where he got to come on with his wife, he was a husband and he took the bullet for her. So he was whatever he needed to be on each season.
I do think at times
really good at fitting the
little
theme,
jerky, but it's okay.
Who voted for me? No, I love Rupert.
Oh my god!
Oh, but that's an iconic line. Who voted?
Oh, I know exactly. Iconic.
That just reminded me of a dear friend of ours, Miss Julia Rowe. If you're watching, who famously the funniest org player I know, got votes at a tribal council in a game we were playing once, and literally in the Facebook group put a clip of Rupert going, "Who the hell voted for me?" publicly for everybody to see.
But yeah, I love him. I was glad that he won that $1 million, even though he can't win the show ever. He did win $1 million.
They really did just give him $1 million.
Yeah, they just gave him $1 million, which I'm like, hey, that's
they knew what they were doing with America.
Yeah, they knew what they were doing exactly. But yeah, so Rupert, now Karly, are you going to?
No.
Okay.
Oh no, that means she's gonna beat up whoever villain. She's gonna take away my villain pick.
So I'm either going home with an idol in my pocket or I'm screwing Dill over. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. I like to hear.
Yeah, I love Rupert. I mean, iconic hero. And I didn't pick him because I knew Matt would, but I thought about picking him just because I was like, no one else has picked a hero except for Karly, and like he is arguably the greatest hero of Survivor, like the face of heroes in Survivor.
Right.
So, but on a similar note, I thought about. I'll just rattle off some honorable mentions. Well, no, because I might have to pick a second pick. There's a very
nobody's gonna steal it.
There are
no, but she can idol it still anyway.
There are two iconic villains of Survivor that were both the captains of Redemption Island. I find I just don't love them as much as other people do. And the one is just a bad person. I don't want to pick him because I don't like him. And then the other, I just like.
I would use the idol to pick the bad person.
but then he might nullify it and stick me with him. So I'm not gonna do that.
Instead, I wouldn't nullify it. Let's just let Karly. Okay.
Then there's someone from the same season that Matt just drafted, but he quit the game. I'm gonna go with someone who voted himself out because that was an honorable mention for my tribal council. I'm gonna go Tyson because I think Tyson Tyson is someone who like is a little bit mean in his confessionals, but I think he still has a joking spirit about it, and you see that on 40. I think he is more of a hero on 40, so it's tough. But I think he's enough of a villain on Token Teens and Blood versus Water and Heroes versus Villains to justify it. His edit is small on Heroes versus Villains, but him going out in the way he does is such like a pathetic like loser move because it's like all you had to do was do this easy move, and you're just such a dumbass that you vote yourself out, and it plays into his cockiness. And I love how he kind of acts as this like kind of devil and angel in the shoulder of coach by like talking about him like don't do this, but then backhand complimenting him at the same time. I just think he's one of the greatest confessionalists. He's someone that I didn't love when I watched him even on Token Teens or Heroes vs. Villains, and then loved so much in Blood vs. Water that I went back and then found so much more to appreciate with him on rewatch. And I think he genuinely hates Sierra, and it's really funny to watch. But I know Matt has to run soon, so I'll let Matt talk about it, and then Karly can make the big move if she needs to.
I don't want a souvenir, so pick someone else still.
Oh, no.
Oh, but can I talk about Tyson? Because I love him.
Yeah, Matt, talk about Tyson. Austin, contemplate if you're going to use your nullifier, and then I will start thinking of a backup.
Tyson is, after Suri, Boston Rob, Rupert, Tyson's right there. Like, he's one of my all-time favorites. He's so funny. He's a funny follow on Twitter. He's just so much fun to watch. And I want him to be a little mean. Like he's not trying to hurt anybody. He does all of his meanness in the confessionals. So I really I love Tyson.
Damn. Austin, are you nullifying this pick or no?
I told Karly I wouldn't. But
okay.
I'm gonna be the biggest villain here and nullify it, even though I told her I wouldn't.
Tyson is gonna lock in
Tyson. I can't let Tyson not be on this board now.
Can I just tell you who my backups were? It was Chaos Cast, which makes sense for all the chaos that's happening, and then Venus as my favorite new era villain.
Oh my gosh!
So
I wanted I wanted to make you stew in it for a little bit too, so I'm glad you let Matt talk. I wanted to see the contemplation and like the oh shit, I have to figure out someone else on my face on your face.
Nice.
No, Tyson's phenomenal. I love him. I think his confessionals are great. I think he's really every time he plays, he gets more and more astute to how the game is played. Whereas I think when he comes in Tocantins, he's simply this like arrogant, I love myself person in Heroes Villains, where he is kind of understanding the game a little bit, but he tries to make like the swing to like get himself in like the cushiest middle position he can. And then he has it figured out by Blood versus Water. And he plays that. Like, I think that's where we have like a question of how villainous is he, because he's really doing it for Rachel. And there's that like idea of like him being a hero there, but I think there's still enough he does in there that's villainous, like the Coconut Bandits with Jervis. Like, he's a good pick that I think is consistently villainous. Just he
the way he talks to Katie,
HVV. Right. Yeah, the way he talks to Katie. No, Tyson's great. He needs to be here. He needs to be on this board.
Yeah, Karly, you just pulled off a villainous move that backfired. Any last thoughts on Tyson?
I didn't like him the first time around, but Austin makes a good point about by Blood versus Water. Like the way how that whole season is just kind of redeeming the fact that his loved one got voted out. He won me over in the end. I like him.
Yeah,
I love hearing him talk about the game too.
Yeah, and like Tony, Parvati, Sandra, and Suri, there are moments of like rooting interest, even and fleshed out personality with the villain. Like, he's not a one-note personality like even like Q is. Like, there's a lot more of like, okay, we know who this person is and we can understand and root for them, at least in his last 2 seasons. Even 40, especially with his daughter, is beautiful. Ingrid, any last thoughts on Tyson?
I was actually about to say something along those lines. This is true about a lot of people on Survivor, but I feel like because of when he played, it's especially true for Tyson. But I feel like we really watched Tyson grow up on Survivor, which is really fun. Like in Tocantins and also Heroes versus Villains, he is still very young, or at least he acts very young. I don't actually remember how old he was at the time, probably in his 20s, but I'm not sure. And like, the cocky attitude and like the way he talks about Sierra. And I am a Sierra fan. If I don't care, I could be a fan of both of them and live my life. But like the way that he talks about her and the way that he like, is so cocky and all of that. And then the way he votes himself out basically in Heroes versus Villains, but then he comes up with Blood versus Water, and now he has a girlfriend that he cares a lot about, and like going through that stage of life and the way that he avenges her. And then, we see him again on Winners at War, and now he's a dad, and he like the last thing that we hear him say before he goes to the jury is like, I finally found the thing other than Survivor that I'm really good at, and that's being a dad. And like, I don't have to play Survivor anymore to like, for that to be my job, because I found the thing that I'm good at that I can do.
I love that.
And like, that's so beautiful too. So like, he's a fantastic pick. He was on my short list.
Awesome.
So yeah, great pick.
Cool. Well, we've wrapped up the draft. Yeah, Matt.
I just want to say one more thing about Tyson. My favorite thing he's ever said was actually something he said on Twitter, which was, if I could change one thing about my Survivor journey, I would have won all 4.
Love that for him.
Yeah, my favorite things that Tyson has said about the game, just the last thing about Tyson, like when I was talking about how I like hearing talk about the game, I don't remember what it was in, but he talks about how on Survivor, you can tell when someone's not being like genuine with you when you bring them a plan and they just say yes. He's like, that's when you know that they're either lying to you or they're not like really trying to work with you, because a real ally is going to want to talk through the why. They may still end with a yes, but they're gonna want to rationalize it out with you.
I love that. Good to know for when we all go play on Survivor 51. Cool. So I'm going to recap the draft order really quick, and then we're going to go quickly through honorable mentions. Not much explanation needed, but Austin, your picks. Tony for best villain. The Tribe Has Spoken, Heroes versus Villains, the Kageon Merge Tribal, and Joe Hunter for your hero. Karly, your villain. Parvati, your tribal is Q's quit attempt in the hide and seek episode. Hero Kenzie, season David vs. Goliath, and quote Candace from Railroad Tribe. Ingrid, your villain is Sandra. Your tribal is John Hennigan's Blindside. Your quote is "Forget you, go home, goodbye." Your season is Millennials versus Gen X, and your hero is Marianne. Matt, your villain is Suri. Your tribal council is the Parvati double idol play. Your season is Micronesia. Your quote is "It's a fucking stick," and your hero is Rupert. Dylan, season China. Tribal council is Eric giving away the immunity necklace. My quote is "Snakes and Rats" speech. Hero Adam Klein. Villain Tyson. Immunity idled. Back on to the list. So really quickly, let's just go around with our heroes. Just say their names. Austin, any honorable mentions for heroes?
The one I wanted to change my Joe pick to and wanted Karly to idol me for, and that's truly why I nullified her idol in the end, because she didn't use it on me, was I wanted to switch to Ethan's on.
Oh, that's a good pick.
Ooh,
Good
that's a
pick.
good one.
Karly, any heroes? Karly, any hero picks?
Carolyn, Yule, Marianne, and well, of course, Coach. Of course.
Coach.
That's hilarious.
Oh, Karly, you crack me up. Ingrid, any hero honorable mentions?
The only one on my short list that hasn't been mentioned so far is Malcolm.
Nice. Maddie, any honorable mentions for heroes?
The third person that I haven't mentioned that is acceptable to win 50 is Aubrey.
My queen.
Yes, one of my all-time favorite players. Also Cochran and Todd I have on my list.
Yeah, my honorable mentions for heroes that haven't been picked. Carolyn, I had Cochran and Ty Trang.
I have one more that I wanted to say with Ethan.
Yeah.
Have you guys never met a neat lady, Monica Culpepper?
Monica Culpepper, yes.
Why wasn't that your quote, Austin?
All right, villains. Karly, start us off with villains. Karly, honorable mentions.
My queen, Savannah from 49. Love her. Johnny Fairplay, of course. The first female villain, Jerry. I love Jerry. And Courtney.
Nice. Ingrid.
Courtney was the one person left on my short list, but I will give a shout out to Jesse Lopez as well.
Nice. Maddie, North Carolina. Maddie.
Boston Rob. He does villainy right. There's so many people who do it wrong and in a bad and mean and awful way, and he does villainy right, in my opinion. Also, somebody said it already, and I don't remember it now. Anyway, yeah, that's it.
Okay. I did consider Russell only because he is objectively one of the greatest villains of Survivor, but I didn't want to put him on our draft board for obvious reasons. Boston Rob I considered. Chaos Cass and Venus were my backups, and then Genevieve I think is a cool complex villain. Austin villain picks.
Savannah and Jerry were the two still on my short list.
Jerry. Jerry doesn't get enough respect.
I saw you make a reaction to that.
Jerry doesn't get enough respect. She deserves more respect.
My only drawback on Jerry is I think she's a hero in Heroes Villains. That was my.
Her arc is so beautiful.
Yeah, she is. Ingrid, any seasons honorable mentions?
Okay. I don't think any of the other three that were on my short list got picked, which is kind of crazy. Because I think they're really popular seasons. Winners at War is crazy to not be here, but I also get it. Cagayan, which we talked a lot about, and Second Chance.
Nice. Cambodia, yeah. Matt?
The only other one on my list is Pearl Islands, but that's just a personal thing, which we talked about before. I don't love that final two, but that season just means a lot to me.
Yeah, my 5 of my top 6 got picked. The only one that didn't was Cagayan. I'm actually a little surprised it didn't because I think that's more of a consensus top 5, but I like that we brought our own personal stuff to it. And then in my top 10, rounding out the top 10 was Gabon, Ko Rong, Cambodia, and then Blood versus Water. I really do like. Austin, any honorable mention seasons?
I don't know what hasn't been said, so I'm just going to read what my short list was quickly. It was Heroes, Villains, Cambodia, Micronesia, Pearl Islands, Cook Islands, China, Tocantins, David Goliath. Those were the ones on my short list.
Karly, any honorable mentions?
46, the best new era season. And the only other one that wasn't picked was Pearl Islands in my top 5.
Nice. All right, Matt, give us some quotes, honorable mention quotes.
I want to win a million hearts. I already mentioned she's a mermaid dragon.
Yes. I
love Banu. I should have listed him among my heroes as well. They need to change.
There was a hero Matt listed that I thought was a villain, but I don't remember who it was now.
Aubrey.
Aubrey, I think is a villain. But
really?
In the same way Suri is, I would say. Anyway, continue, Matt, with quotes. We'll talk about it later.
Sorry, Matt. Didn't mean to.
They should change the name of CBS to the Columbia Bonu station. Take that, Reddit. Anyway, I will always wave my finger in your face. To the day, my mom and sister have both passed on, but to the day they died, that was a quote we all said to each other. Fuck you, Brad Culpepper. My grandmother's sitting at home watching Jerry Springer right now. Okay. Just to know about me, I love Jake from 4045.
Okay.
I'm a big Jake fan. And he has a lot of great quotes that I love. Oh, we're playing Survivor.
I love it.
This one actually made me cry twice, once while watching it the first time and then on rewatch. And that is, I know I got a snowball's chance in hell, dude, but this snowball's going to keep rolling. I just wish I had a bigger snowball.
I love it.
I love it.
And last one from him, which is, you made me swear on Nana, dude.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
The impression's so good too.
It's really good.
And his whoa.
See, that was almost the tribal council because that's the Kelly. One,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What the hell, guys?
She is so
good.
she is so discombobulated at that moment. She
Yeah.
doesn't even know where her torch is. But that whoa, and then he's like, sorry.
Whoa, sorry.
And I don't think he's being a dick. I think it's a genuine, like, he thought he was going home and suddenly he's not. Anyway, from Rudy from Borneo, me and Richard got to be pretty good friends, not in a homosexual way, that's for sure. And then, of course, Natalie, is there any way I can have your jacket?
Mm-hmm.
Natalie?
Yeah.
Natalie? Nothing.
I love it. How many good quotes? I mean, these quotes honorable mentions are so good. They're bringing up so many great memories. One of mine was "Survivor's ready, go!" Obviously. Another one was "Come on in, guys," which is iconic, and then Twitter had to make it a big thing. One of my favorite Jeff quotes is Jonathan getting frustrated by me. Two Sandra quotes. "I'm against you, Russell, and you need to get in the ocean and wash your ass."
Yep.
Incredible.
I don't know why I like that. And then, of course, Natalie, can I have your jacket is on my list. Austin, any honorable mention quotes?
Mine were to follow yours up. Mine is, I mean, my ass. When Jonathan nails a tile and it doesn't break. I also had, I don't know about that. Last time I was mean, this time I'm meaner. I ain't no Hershey bar. Was on my list.
Nice.
To kind of go along with something Matt said, I had "She Died, Dude."
Mm-hmm.
He's a Jew. He won't eat the ham.
Mm-hmm. Big time.
It was a big one for me. And then, sorry, I don't talk llama to you.
Karly,
that was if I didn't pick the Tribe of Smoke and I was picking the llama quote.
I love that. Karly, any quotes?
But I don't know about that. Like, her delivery of that is just perfect.
I do say that literally all the time.
Sandra is a quote machine. Damn. Okay. Yeah, keep going.
She really is. Poverty's quote about how it would be downright depressing to sit and watch green bananas turn yellow without her debaucherous little villain. Her delivery is just beautiful.
Oh yeah, I also saw on Reddit. JT, would you like a banana?
Cancel Christmas, of course. I love Kenzi's line about either you're telling a really dumb lie or you're telling a really dumb truth, because that just sums up all 46 for me. Cerie's quote about Mama always told me if you can't beat them with these, you need to beat them with these. That's great.
I think we all did it.
Yeah. I love Poverty's little ad-libbing when they're reading JT's letter to Russell, like when she's talking then about like, XOXO. Like, I just love she's so bitchy in that moment. It's great. And I wanted to do a coach quote, but I just couldn't do it justice. So I was like, no, I can't.
I have.
You're a little man. Ingrid, any quotes?
Okay. All of mine were taken, but I was looking at a list on my phone. Washing dishes on my damn birthday is incredible.
Rodney, yes.
Who wants to date someone who doesn't make the merge?
Cat, yeah.
Patterson. Where is it? Hold on.
So good. You're good.
Somebody call a ambulance. Terry's crying on the course.
Ours, yeah, good quote.
Like, ambulance.
I have one final thing to say about this this round.
And
I'm pissed.
I'm pissed. Yes.
And what if I said that Debbie walks so that Liz can run? Oh my gosh, I had another one.
Oh,
now
sorry, it could be 3 people.
Oh yeah, no, Sandy.
I was thinking Sandy Bergen.
Sandy walked so that Debbie could jog so that Liz could run.
There we go.
Yes.
There it is. There it is.
Cool. Any other quotes, Ingrid? If you want to think about it, I can go through some tribal counters.
There was a voting confessional I had in my mind. I can't remember what it is now.
Some tribal council honorable mentions. I had my backup one was a new era. It's Operation Italy. I think when a plan is executed well, I love.
I could tell that's the one that you kept alluding to.
Yeah. But also Jesse blindsiding Cody is an iconic tribal council.
Yep.
Tyson voting himself off. Amanda's idol play in Micronesia when you don't even know she has the idol and then she whips it out for the audience too. The Ghost Island final tribal with the tie is iconic. Adam trying to play the podium. Wentworth does not count.
Yep.
The Leanne boot in Vanuatu is iconic. Go back and watch it. Becky and Sundra making fire.
Yes.
Yao Man's blindside by Dreams when he doesn't give him the car, doesn't upend the deal. Ozzy's blindside in Micronesia is overshadowed by Eric's, but it's still so good. Jason's blindside in Micronesia is good.
I was gonna say it's a string of beautiful male blindsides.
The block for Blood vs. Water rock draw. And then the Sophie blindside extortion episode for Tony is my honorable mentions. Austin, any honorable mentions for tribals?
Before I forget it, because it's not on this list, but something that you said really triggered it for me. The Edgardo vote out in Fiji. Yeah. When you talk about like a plan like coming together so perfectly.
Yeah.
I also have and again I'm just gonna read my list really quick because I don't know what you did and didn't say. Michaela Bradshaw on 33.
Yes.
And this was specifically when it was going to be blindsides. This is my blindside list. I thought about going the OG blindside, in my opinion, of Gretchen Cordy.
Gretchen, yeah, it's a good one.
I had Jamie from Guatemala where he goes blindside, nice.
Yeah.
James in 15, Eric in 16, Kelly Sharbaugh in 19, where Russell plays his. I ain't finished playing just yet.
Huge.
Talk about a quote. Tyson and JT in 20, Andrea in 34, where she tickles Suri on her way out because it's hysterical. Sarah in 28, which I picked. Jacqueline, did you vote for who I told you to in San Juan del Sur?
Natalie Anderson.
I'm kind of surprised that wasn't end up picked here. Aubrey in Edge of Extinction, where she goes, you guys are phenomenal players. Scott in 32 when Ty doesn't play the Super Idol. And then my new era ones were Shannon 41, Omer in 42, Emily in 45, where Julie plays the idol and negates every vote for her, which sets D up so perfectly to win. And then I also had Operation Italy on here.
A lot of good ones. Karly, any honorable mentions for tribals?
Yeah, I just had a few because I just went with the ones off the top of my head. Wentworth does not count, and my other one was, of course, Sierra voting out her mom.
Oh yeah, that
voted out her mom.
Ingrid, any honorable mentions?
I'm mad that Austin stole my thunder and picked the Michaela Bradshaw blindside because I also almost went with that, but I was like, I don't want to have 33 and Michaela Bradshaw blindside. Incredible television. I put my finger like this on my leg because I remembered a quote. Because of unfortunately Russell. This is also a big one in our house. I don't even like the Boston Red Sox.
I don't even like.
We will say I don't even like whatever it is, like all the time. But the other ones that I had 2 other ones written down. And one is Caleb's shot in the dark in 45. Because that was like, whoa, that was like cool. It had worked before, but not to the extent that it worked at that time.
Batman.
And I would have no hate to J Maya at all, but I would have much rather seen her go than Caleb at that time, watching the characters and the way that it was edited. So worked out. And then the Three Amigos tribal.
With Philip Shepard. Yeah.
I thought about that during the draft too.
Matt, any honorable mentions for?
Well, as I'd said, I only wrote down 2, but you guys did make me think of a couple.
Okay.
I just want to mention that Scott going home is the greatest moment in Survivor history because fuck that guy.
Yeah.
When Ty didn't use this. Yeah. Also, I don't remember what the other one was, but I will say here's one that I want to mention is that as bad as the situation was, When Varner went home,
that was great.
The fact that everybody hated him immediately, and even Maga Sarah, Red Cap Sarah was upset about that. Like it was everybody was so mad, and even Jeff was like, he's done tribal like straw polls at the time, but he was like, we don't need to vote, right? And then he just sent them away. Like it sucks what happened.
Yeah. It's so hard.
The rest is but the moments that happen within that are so great.
Yeah. And then Zeke making it about like metamorphosis, which was the challenge. I was like, damn.
Oh my God. I forgot
amazing.
Yeah. No, it's so difficult to watch, but it shows so much humanity and like kind of what Survivor was about at the beginning anyway, which was putting human beings on an island together and seeing what they would do.
Right.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Anyone else have any other honorable mentions for anything? Anyone else?
I feel like we need to end on something happy. I'm thinking of something.
Yes, I was reminded in the Jamie blindside, the nice of Judd and Margaret's ADD showdown.
You guys get bit by a bunch of freaking crocodiles.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's a good one.
The other one that I thought about picking too was Denise.
Yeah, Denise. I will go out on a positive. Is one of my favorite tribal councils of Winners of War is when everyone runs up and hugs Jeff, the whole jury.
Yeah. Incredible moment.
That. Right before the finale. Yeah, I really like that moment. That's a great moment. So
that's why Extinction Island always. I'll never hate that thing because you get to see these great people the whole season.
Yeah,
and
that's
then you get moments
daily,
like that
man.
where you
daily.
get those. Yeah, like those moments where you get to.
I have ways that I would like for them to modify it, but
yeah, I mean, sure. But
sorry, I scrolled on Reddit really quick and I can't believe that two things weren't said.
Okay.
Both from the same quote machine of a man. At least I don't think they were said. If they were, I apologize, but they don't stick out of my head. Stick to the plan.
My best friend.
And hell no, Survivor ain't fun. Golfing's fun.
That's what I was
Going
saying.
on a cruise is fun.
I love
that was the quote that I couldn't remember.
Yes, Keith Nail, rest in peace.
I also
Ending it
meant
on a
to
note.
write Keith Nail on my short list.
And about his son, he's a good boy. He ain't been to jail yet.
Keith is a cool machine.
Will Hall.
You call Will Hall.
There we go. That's a great way to end this draft. I know we have to head out now, but rest in peace, Keith. Rest in peace, all the survivors we've lost. We mentioned Sunday, Ashley Massaro, so many great players. Rudy Bosch, so many great people that we've lost. But great. This is a great way to kick off the February season, getting ready for Survivor. You will see all these faces again with Zach. The six of us will be doing a mega draft. Ingrid, Austin, Zach, and I always do a draft before every season, drafting or during the season after like a few people have gone home. We pick like out of the top like 16, we pick 4 each. This year, we're each going to still have 4 each, but there's 24 total. So that works out 6 times 4. So 6 of us, Karly and Matt, are going to be joining us to draft players before the season even starts. And we're going to start fantasy from day 1. So we're going to do a cast assessment once CBS has released all the press stuff. We'll get back on here with Zach, and we're all going to draft the preseason contestants for our fantasy teams, and then also give our just assessments of them. How we'll do it is whoever drafts will then talk about them, and we'll all talk about them then, and kind of treat that as our cast assessment as well. And then at the very end, Zach and I will give our boot order predictions, and we could also give ours as well, at least where we think in the season they'll go. If they'll go deep, if they'll go early, if they'll be Q, who could win or lose. We don't know. No, just kidding. We're all rooting for his failure, but it's going to be really exciting. Thank you all. I'll give everyone one last word, but Matt, I'll give you first because I know you have to head out soon. But Matt, anything else?
Yeah, I'm glad that Karly and I don't have to be jealous of you guys' draft this time. No, I love Survivor. As I said, I started watching this in when I was in high school back in my day. I started watching. Yeah, I don't know why I thought that. I've watched it since day one. I started watching it after my mom had passed away, and I decided to start watching this as kind of a tribute to her because she loved it so much, and it really I really felt this connection with her. And there was a point where she passed away, where I had actually gone further than my mom had, and the fact that I recognized that was really heartbreaking, but also like I'm carrying that torch for her. So this means a lot to me, and I was glad we were able to do it. So thank you.
Thank you, Matt. I'd love to hear everything you have to say about everything. And thank you for finally selling me on Suri being a villain, because I always push back on it, and now you fully sold me this episode. So Matt has a tendency to do that, just changing my mind on things in a good way for the better. So that's why he's one of my best friends. Ingrid, any last thoughts?
I will also kind of say my like thank you to Survivor, I guess. I would not be anywhere that I am in my life without Survivor. I'm thankful that show's still on, as somebody who on the other end of the spectrum was born literally while they were filming. Like I think I'm like a couple weeks younger than Jervis's son, or like a couple weeks older. What are they, like literally I was born while they were filming. Crazy thing to think about. Like this is the legacy of Survivor. But like, you know, thanks to my mom for loving Survivor, and it just being on all the time, because I am where I am today because of it. You know, like I said, Austin and I met playing online Survivor, and I moved away from sweet North Carolina to be with him and changed my whole life, and I would have literally nothing without Survivor. So wow. I'm so thankful. I'm so excited that we're at 50 seasons. I can't imagine my life without it. So I'm super thankful that it continues to go on, and it's always fun to talk about. I'm always down to talk about it. I love it. So thanks for always letting us come talk and draft and all of that good stuff.
Yeah, of course.
And now Ingrid and I are best friends.
Yay! Yes, there we go.
Karly,
like half of our wedding party were people we met because of Survivor. So
I love that. Maybe half of my wedding party will be actual Survivor players from when I go on 53 and then win Survivor All Stars 55.
Yay.
We all know how I do on returning seasons, don't we? Fair play. Karly, I was the fair play of behind the scenes. I was the fair play of Austin and Ingrid's Survivor org they were running. I did very well my first time, and then came back and was the first boot because I was very inactive. Not very inactive. It's just I was inactive the first day when everyone was getting to know each other. I was active the second day, but everyone had.
We were devastated.
I know. Listen. My unlike fair play, I will come back and do better the next time. I'm a Tina Wesson, baby. I'm not fair play. Karly. Whoa. I just thought about Carla from the Jesse Cody blindside. That moment was just thinking about that moment. Sorry, Karly. Any last thoughts?
No, this was really fun. I am really hoping Suri does well. Suri and Q are my two rooting interests for 50, as chaotic as that is. Because I want Q to stay around. I need Q and Coach to meet. I need it.
Right. That's the worst thing about splitting up tribes early on, is like there's a chance some people won't meet. Like we might not see Coach and Q, or Q and Angelina, or I need to see it.
Karly, when we do the mega draft, feel free to take Q in the first round. I don't think anyone would fault you for it.
He'll get 10 plus
in the last round, and you would.
Can you imagine the cult that Q and Coach would form together? Oh, no. I don't think the world is
like
ready.
Joe, who's Mr. Loyalty. Like I could see that three teaming up. Maybe we'll see. Austin,
maybe Shannon can help them run it.
No, I mean, Ingrid said everything that I would have probably said better than I would have put the words together to say it. I wouldn't have the life I do without Survivor, so it's extremely important to me. And I'll just end with one more quote I found while scrolling, and that is Nasir.
Yes, great way to end this. That is Nasir. I love Survivor. I'm not going to go into all my reasons why. I'll do that when the season 50 wraps, and if it still has me, assuming the winner is someone good, which I think it will, because this is a great season, a great cast. So we'll talk about it more later, the five of us with Zach, and I'm very excited. And we'll see you all next time. Vote on the draft. The poll will be up, and we'll see you next month for Oscar Snubs draft for Oscar season. We're full swing, so I'm very excited to see what snubs get picked, and what wrongs are righted, just like we wronged so many rights today. I love you. We love you. Billy Garcia. Have a great night.